Happy Tuesday to you on a warm Did you see what the weekend's going to be? Oh, my goodness. We're talking 80s and 90s, depending on where it is you are throughout the great state of Wisconsin and well beyond. But good Tuesday to you after a really terrific Memorial Day weekend. I don't know what you had going on, but the weekend on Saturday, the honor ride was spectacular out at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Had a chance to meet a lot of great people. By the way, I had a chance to rub elbows a little bit, too. We had somewhat of a celebrity in town. For those of you that follow the band Disturbed, Mike Wenngren was in town, and he has some things that he does with a company called Steel Tank Brewing, and he was at the ride on Saturday. So it was a tremendous day. And then got a little bit of riding in and such on Sunday, and yesterday visited the moving wall that came to Waukesha, the moving Vietnam Wall, and that was a very surreal day, afternoon, I should say, but it was a great weekend for a lot of different reasons. But we're back at it. The Brewers had a terrific weekend. They have reeled off 5 straight wins, going for, and the Bucks have reeled off 4 straight and going for 5 straight. And man, you talk about a weekend of winning. It's fantastic. I mean, the Brewers right now somewhat rolling. We knew that once you got into this month that you'd be looking at things going, okay, you know what? Not a bad way to go. When you look at the schedule, how the schedule eases up just a little bit, that you thought, all right, this is not a bad deal. The schedule eases up, and if the Brewers can start hitting the ball, then with the pitching they're getting, man, they have been really, really lights out and off via the pitching staff. And you get the offense going, man, who knows what this team can do? Who knows how good they could possibly be? But that being said, Brewers continue to win, back at it. I was at Woodman's yesterday in Waukesha, and I'm standing in line getting ready to check out. It's one of the self-checkouts, and it wasn't like I had a lot of stuff. But behind me, I hear 2 guys talking. I didn't really pay attention to them at first, but they're talking about the Detroit Tigers. And I'm like, man, Tigers fan. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, that's right. I just got done watching the Brewers play the Tigers. Tigers fans are here hanging out in Waukesha. There's 4 guys hanging out in Waukesha. They're at the Hampton Inn up the road from where I live. And they came to Woodman's to get tailgate supplies. They were excited. So I started talking to them. They love Miller Park. Loved Miller Park. American Family Field, as we should call it. Loved it. Loved the city. Loved the fact that it's more open, that things are starting to open up in this area. It was a really, really nice discussion. Brewers beat the Tigers yesterday in a walk-off 3-2, and they get the win. They go to 29-25, now 4 games over 500. And the Brewers, again, back at it again today. Lauer on the hill for the Brewers. The lefty, Boyd, the lefty, goes for Detroit, and see if they can complete this one as well. But nevertheless, I mean, and that's by the way, a 6:40 first pitch tonight down at American Family Field. 877-867-1670. Excuse me. Must be allergies earlier today. I was outside doing some yard work early this morning. So maybe I just maybe got some bugs in my nose. Who knows? But that being said, if you want to give us a shout, do so. Also, you can hit us up on Twitter at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels on Facebook. The Bill Michaels Show, The Bill Michaels Show over on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Please subscribe. Always appreciate it when you do. Go to youtube.com and search Bill Michaels. Same thing with Twitch TV. You can email us, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And then you can always find the website, simply thebillmichaels.com. We are, by the way, now on the Odyssey app as well. If you just search our flagship station, The Zone, out of Madison, you can listen to the program, so plenty of ways to get a hold of us. The Bucks getting the sweep as well, so exciting stuff with the Bucks. And now we wait and see what happens as the Brooklyn Nets are about to close out a beat-up Celtics team. You would assume they will. How about Kyrie? Kyrie Irving, by the way, stomping on the Lucky Charm logo in Boston, POing a lot of people. And then obviously, having a water bottle thrown at them. And, we'll talk more about stuff like that coming up here in a little bit. But what is, I guess, your excitement level right now when you talk about the Milwaukee Brewers and the fact that they've been playing winning baseball? They have now won 5 straight. The streak stands at. They're 1.5 games back now behind the Cubs, who have won 8 of their last 10. They've been on somewhat of a very quiet roll, even though down in Chicago you think they already won the World Series. They are 30-23, a half game better than St. Louis. Cincinnati continues to falter as they are 24-28, even though they've won 2 in a row. They sit 5.5 games back. Brewers, by the way, though, 3 games back in the wild card standings. 3 games back in the wild card standings right now. And it looks like the Dodgers, the Padres, and the Giants are the 3 teams that are going to be battling for the top spot in the NL West and for the wild card. So if you don't win the division, you may likely find yourself on the outside looking in when it comes to the National League Central. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Good morning to all of you watching over on the Bud Light live stream. Thanks to you for paying attention to us over there as well. Always appreciated, and love the fact that over the weekend, it was funny. So many people had come up to me at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson and said how much they either listen, or if they can't get me in Milwaukee, they can't get us in Sheboygan, can't get us in Elkhart Lake, can't get us in Green Bay, they watch in the Bud Light live stream, and they really enjoy it. So thanks to all of you for checking us out and saying hello. So I appreciate that. Meantime, like I said, the Bucks, they are awaiting the finals between the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics. Nets can close this thing out, and we'll wait and see if they actually do. You've got fans running out on the court during the Wizards' win over the 76ers. You got water bottles being hurled down at Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving then stomping on the logo at half court for Boston for the Lucky Charm logo. The Brooklyn Nets hosting the Celtics coming up tonight. Nets lead that series 3-1. I'll tell you this, though. The Celtics putting up over 120 points in the last few games. You kind of wonder, the Celtics are banged up. You kind of wonder what the Bucks would do to the Nets. Now, granted, they're going to the Nets scoring, but you kind of wonder what the Bucks would put up against the Nets if the Celtics are putting up over 120 points a game. You know what I mean? Tonight, you've got the Trailblazers and the Nuggets. That series tied at 2 games apiece. Meanwhile, the Lakers on the road against the Suns, and the Suns tying that series up. It's tied at 2 games apiece. So a pivotal game coming up tonight in Phoenix between the Lakers and the Suns. So you got some good basketball tonight. You got good baseball coming up tonight. You got a good sports night going on. The saga between the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers has, well, not culminated. We know that June 1st was going to be a day in which and I want to back this up, and I'll do it coming up here in a little bit. But at first, when all of this broke over a month ago, I had said at the time, I said, well, if they can't work this out, look for June 1st, June 2nd for something to be done. And then I retracted that. I mean, it's still out there in the Twitterverse, but I've talked about this time and again. At what point does this become urgent? What point does the schism, the chasm between Aaron Rodgers and the Packers become urgent? And I've got some thoughts on that as well, and we'll see if that comes to fruition. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Many of you chiming in regarding the Brewers. The Brewers on a roll. This is from Jason. Jason says, Brewers on a roll right now. If they can continue to hit the baseball and come up with clutch hitting, do you think that this team can win the Central? That's the only way they're getting to the playoffs. And that's what I just mentioned a little while ago, as Jason emailed me this morning. Let me say this. Yes, I think they can get into the playoffs, but look, San Francisco's 34 wins. They are 4 wins better than the Cubs and the Cardinals, 5 wins better than the Brewers. Can anything happen? It's a marathon. We all know that. Baseball is a marathon, not the sprint. Anything can happen. A team can go into a 10-game losing streak. They can go into a 10-game winning streak. They can start to lose series. They can have a couple of injuries that begin to hamper them. Yes, I look at San Francisco, San Diego, and the Dodgers. Think about it this way. The Cubs right now, atop the National League Central, in run differential, are plus 32. Okay? The Cardinals are even at 0, and the Brewers at a 29-25 record are minus 12. Minus 12. So plus 32, 0, and minus 12. Okay? San Francisco, leading the division in the West, is plus 69. San Diego, a half game back, is plus 81. And the Dodgers, which are 2 games back at 32 and 22, are plus 73. That's what those teams are doing. That's what every one of those teams are doing. Every one of those teams have outscored what the Cubs, the Brewers, and the Cardinals have to offer. 261 runs scored for San Francisco, 264 for San Diego, and 282 for the Dodgers. 245 is the best in the National League Central. That is 16 runs less than the Giants, who have scored the least amount of runs of the 3 out in the West. So while these 3 teams in the National League Central are going to continue to battle one another for the top spot, I believe that. And I still don't think that the Cubs are going to have enough, but the Cubs are proving me wrong right now. But they're going to have to win the division. Unless something dramatically happens between San Francisco, San Diego, and the Dodgers, you're going to have to win the division to get in the postseason. Getting you to 87 wins is not going to put you in the postseason. 88, 89 might not put you in the postseason. 91 probably wins you the division, and 90 wins may not even get you. 90, 89 wins may not even get you in the postseason. Same thing over in the East. The Mets sitting at 26 and 20. That's the worst. That's one of the worst divisions in baseball when it comes to wins and losses. And the Mets are only plus 6 in run differential. That's it. Miami, who is 4 games under 500, is at least plus 10. But the Atlanta Braves have scored the most runs overall in the East, 248, but they're sitting at 0 right now in run differential. And 3.5 games back in the division. The National League East is still the worst division by far in the National League. By far. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. And you know what? They're most likely the worst division in all of baseball, to be honest with you. Because when you look at the top 3 teams, even the American League Central, which is not great, you got the White Sox leading that division right now. Cleveland with 29 wins and Kansas City, who is 6 games back with 26, which is the exact same record as what the New York Mets have. So it's the National League East is considered not only the worst division in the National League, what I would consider to be the worst division in all of baseball. 877-867-1670. When we come back, we are going to hear from some of the Brewers after yesterday's victory, getting ready for today's victory as well, hopefully a victory, as they can then put 6 together. 6 together. I'm liking it. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
How we looking? Bill Michaels here for the Four Seasons Island Resort in Pembine, Wisconsin. And I've got to tell you, when I want to get away for a long weekend, I head to the Four Seasons Island Resort. It's Northeast Wisconsin's best-kept secret, and the amenities include a 9-hole golf course, indoor saltwater swimming pool, sauna, whirlpool, tennis courts, basketball, horseshoe pits, volleyball, and when you're hungry, choose from the Boundary Water Sports Bar and Grill, Lily's Ice Cream Parlor, or fine dining in the Diamond Room. How about all of that? All Marinette County ATV and UTV trails are wide open this year. Guided waterfall tours as well. It's tucked into the North Woods of Wisconsin. The Four Seasons Island Resort is located on the Muscano Island and surrounded by the beautiful Menominee River, which divides Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan. An island you can actually drive to. How about that? It's simply gorgeous there. Whether it's a romantic weekend for 2, a a golf weekend with the boys, or an adventure weekend for the entire family. Four Seasons Island Resort, it's a place to go. Book your getaway today at thefourseasonswi.com. That's thefourseasons, FOURWI.com, and make sure you tell them Bill Michael sent you.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program, The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. Glad to have you. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, feel free to go ahead and do so. And by the way, did you see what happened over the weekend? Did you see what happened over the weekend? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. There you go. IndyCar racing, Helio Castroneves. We're going to hear. Remember when we had him on the program? I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. He had called and said, "Hey, I want to come on." And we had him on, and I've known Helio for more than a few years now, and he was just so great to talk to. And we talked about him going to the grid and getting the start at the Indy 500, and only racing so many races this year. I think it's only like 6 races. And he talked about what it would mean. And damned if he didn't go out and win the Indy 500. Now 4-time champion. If you don't remember that interview, we're going to play it for you again today. It was so cool that he called us the day before and said, hey, I want to come back on. I want to talk about Road America because he loves the place. So Helio Castroneves, now 4-time IndyCar champion, coming to Road America, and it's going to be spectacular. And hopefully the weekend is beautiful and warm, much like it's going to be this weekend. And it's coming up soon. And you've only got about another week to get registered. IndyCar coming to Road America. We want you there. The NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix presented by AMR takes to the legendary Road America track June 17th to the 20th. And we're going to be there. We want you to be there too. On the 18th, we're doing a live broadcast from Road America. And we're going to be there all weekend long. If you want to get registered for this prize package we're giving away, go to thebillmichaels.com right now to register. We want to set you up with race tickets, a campsite, and we are going to pay for, supply, and give to you a big tailgate party for you and 5 of your friends. We're going to have some brats, some burgers, all that kind of good stuff. Ribs on a stick from our great friends at Robert Specialty Meats in Waukesha. Beverages from our friends at Bud Light, and everything else is going to be supplied by our terrific friends over at Quick Trip, which, by the way, is the official fuel provider of the brand new big unit cruiser, which is going to be hopefully picked up, I think, next week at Cunis RV. Now, I'm getting the one that they're giving us from down in Elkhorn, but they're all over the state of Wisconsin, all over. Go to Cunis, KUNESRV.com. This is the time to do it. If you're going to get out and do some tailgating, or if you just want to get away with the family, or just maybe yourself or friends, maybe you want to go up to a campground, stay up in the Tomahawk area, do some motorcycle ride, whatever it may be, we want you to be a part of this. And go to CunisRV.com. It's going to be awesome. The NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix presented by AMR June 17th through the 20th at Road America. Get all the details, event coverage, and everything, and your chance to win. Go to thebillmichaels.com. That is thebillmichaels, MICHAELS.com. Get registered now. And if you want to try it before you buy it, maybe even rent an RV, go to Cunis, KUNESRV.com. And don't forget, we're going to get all around Road America, all around that 4-mile course from our friends at Road Track and Trail, which, by the way, if you're looking for power sports, that is the #1 seller in the world. And I'm not kidding, the world, volume-wise, for power sports. Go to roadtrackandtrail.com. And it's tickets, camping, tailgating with me from Quick Trip, Road America, CunisRV.com. Also, roadtrackandtrail.com. Our friends at Robert Specialty Meats all pitching in. Man, what a great event. What a great event. I can't wait to be a part of this. I can't wait to get there. Can't wait to do all this good stuff. Another stream up there before so many things going on at the track. But Helio Castroneves, you're going to hear that interview coming up a little bit later on today. Awesome, awesome stuff. So, the Brewers, we'll get into the Brewers comments from yesterday coming up here momentarily. Before that, let's get to the phone calls. Eric, listening to us in Madison. Eric, how you doing, man? What's going on today?
Bill, how are you, sir?
I am great.
Hope you had a good weekend.
I had a great weekend.
Well,
how about you?
Did well. Doing well, you know. Had a nice weekend. It was nice weather. Got some gardening done. Everything worked out nicely.
Good to hear.
Hey, congrats on the RV coming up. It's going to be you're going to have a blast with it, my friend.
I can't wait.
You're going to enjoy that. You're going to have a great time with that.
Can't wait. Can't wait. And we got a big Nexus one too, which has got like a Peterbilt front on it. I think it's like 36 or 38 feet long. This big Peterbilt semi front on it. I can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be tremendous to look at, and you're going to have a blast driving it.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have a great time with you.
Awesome.
So congratulations on that. A great accomplishment.
Thank you.
One question for you.
Yeah.
I keep reading, you're reading all over the place, and the Packers are still saying they refuse to trade Rodgers. Do you think this is strictly if we tell everybody we want to unload him, his price value drops? Do you think this is basically a play to get what they can for him? I'm thinking if he doesn't want to be here, which who knows if he does or not anymore. There's so many different stories. You got Jenkins coming up as a free agent. You sure don't want to lose him. You got Jair Alexander coming up in 22. Wouldn't that be a pretty good jump start by trading Rodgers and freeing up some cap space to get those two guys signed And basically, I'm thinking if you're going to do it, now's the time to do it because there's going to be quite a few veterans who can really help this team out. If you can unload Rogers now, let's put it this way. I think it would be a stupid mistake if they kept them and kept playing games with each other and then they traded them like August 5th.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You can trade him now and unload him. If he says, well, I can work something out with the Packers, no problem, I want to be here, and he starts whining and he wants out and he's gone August 1st, that's pretty selfish on his part. And if the Packers say, we're not going to trade Rodgers, we're not going to trade him, then they unload him August 5th, where they could have unloaded him now and picked up 3 or 4 veterans who are going to be cut over the next 24 hours to help the team. That's a pretty stupid move on their part.
Yeah, I don't think anything is going to happen right away. I think, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this, but I don't think two things. You're right. If the Packers said they're looking to unload them, then it can diminish the value. That means teams know you want to get rid of them, which means you're not going to get the same offer as if you think you're going to keep them. Secondly, I think if you continually say we're not going to trade them, and you continue to say we want Aaron here, it's continuing publicly to show him love. Like, which, apparently he's unhappy because he doesn't feel respected or what have you. So it continues to show him love, and that way it continues the line of communication to be open. So I don't think there's any benefit in this point going public and saying we want to get rid of the guy.
No, Doug, you don't want to diminish the trade value if you decide to go that way.
Right.
But, I mean, when you got a guy like Aaron Jones said, Rodgers didn't say a thing to me, and if he did, it wouldn't have changed my mind. I love Green Bay. Maybe that keeps him here. But when you turn around and say, if you hear anybody say Jordan Love is looking a lot better, because if you have people coming out of the Packer camp saying, you know what, Jordan Love is looking a whole lot better. He's learned a lot. He's taking care of himself in the offseason. He looks like he might be ready in another year to carry this team. I mean, that can pretty much call a shot too, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, here's the thing with that. I guess Jordan Love, they can tell me Jordan Love. I mean, I know that Matt LaFleur said the ball is jumping out of his hand. Until he's in pads and reading defenses, I don't care if he's running 4.3 40s or it doesn't matter to me. Because we've seen a lot of quarterbacks come into the league that look really, really good passing to guys in underwear. And then once they actually put the pads on, they look like crap. So, I mean, till then, I don't really care.
Well, that was my point. I mean, doing it doing it at Lambeau Field in practice is one thing, and then doing it at Soldier Field against the Bears is quite another.
No, I completely agree with you. Eric, appreciate the phone call, buddy. Thanks for taking a listen to us. Going back to the Brewers, and we'll get more into this Rodgers stuff coming up. But going back to the Brewers, Adames talks about hitting better than he did with Tampa Bay and the kind of the role that American Family Field plays in all of this.
I'm feeling better. I'm feeling way better. But yeah, today with the roof open, I wanted to see how it was going to be because, I heard it's a little shady when you get those shadows. And, I think it was still better than the truck to hit the ball. I see it better. But yeah, I think I'm liking it. I love the fans, though. The fans here, amazing, but it's better.
He also says that coming up in the 10th, Urias told him before the 10th, he said, look, I'm going to walk it off. We're going to walk it off. Here we go.
It was amazing. He told me before the inning when we were going to the dugout, he said, I'm going to walk it off. I said, I know you got it. It was amazing to watch it. It was even more because, he told me that he was going to do it. So he had that confidence, in himself that he was going to do it. And, we were just there supporting. But I think I know it's big for him and for the team to get that win.
And it was. It was just, you know what? It's walk-off wins in front of your home fans are just so uplifting. And Corbin Burns, he now talks about overcoming. They had a tough stretch, and he said, hey, look, we weren't hitting the baseball. Things weren't going our direction. But now they're starting to play good ball again.
I mean, that's baseball. I think every team in a season, every good team anyway, is going to have one of those stretches that you have to overcome and get through. We had a couple meetings of, hey, let's just keep pushing through it, It's going to turn around. And I think that the DC series was kind of that turning point for us. We threw the ball great. We hit the ball well, play good defense.
Now, when this happened, my phone blew up between Twitter and friends texting me saying, oh my God, did you see this? That's right. What am I talking about? We've been discussing it. It's not something that's a surefire thing. It's just something that excites, that ignites. Craig Counsell talks about bunting in the 10th inning.
Ironically, it was literally the same 4 players that were going to be involved in the inning, with Narvaez on second and Keston up and Louis and Jackie behind him. So, yeah, it's situational. I think Keston shows you he's a good bunter. And so that I feel like the chance for success on the sack bunt is way up with Keston. And I think so that's a good reason to do it right there.
So there you go. He bunted. How about that? Urias talks about the game-winning hit.
Honestly, I wasn't looking for anything. I was just trying to stay short to the ball and thinking on drive it to the middle. The guy that was throwing, he was throwing heat, so I wasn't trying to do too much. I was trying to get a good pitch to hit, and I think that was like kind of outside, but I'm glad that I stayed through it.
And then he talks about, again, the bunt. It changed everything in the 10th.
No, definitely it changed completely the game, because let's say Narvaez would stay at second, probably the outfielders, they would be like deeper in the outfield. So I wouldn't even have a double, I think. So that changed everything.
There you go. And the Brewers get the win, and they continue on. Winners of 5 straight, looking for 6 in a row. By the way, I want to say hi to Daniel. Daniel watching from the Dominican Republic on vacation, enjoying the show and a few before heading off to the beach. And a few beverages, I would assume. That's what he means. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. So there you have it. Just that's my thinking as to why the Bucks aren't getting as much coverage. And it's probably because just a lot of people are saying, hey, wake me when you get there. This is from Joe. Joe writes in the Wendy's email or in our email inbox, and he says, hey, Bill, Keston Hiura coming back up and igniting this team is a good thing. Finally contributing. Good to see him smiling again. After everything he's kind of gone through with his mother and just trying to get sent back down, try to get himself back together, you're right. You're right. I'm glad to see Keston Hiura being able to smile again. And who knows? Maybe that was just. I don't want to I don't want to say that that's it, but the fact that Keston Hiura came in and was a contributing factor into a walk-off win, that's awesome. You know. So I'm glad to see Keston Hiura. By the way, going to the outfield for the first time in his professional career and contributing in different ways, that's awesome. That's awesome. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hit us up. This is from Larry. Larry says, weird to see Bernie Brewer going down a white slide. All right. I don't care what color the slide is. Do you really? Do we really care what color the slide is? I don't. Look, I was glad to see more fans in the stands. I can't wait till American Family Field is packed. Beyond that, I don't care. So, I don't mean to diminish your or demean your email, but I don't care what color the slide is. It can be, poop brown for all I care. It doesn't matter. As long as the Brewers are winning, I don't care. Well, and right now, here's the thing. As long as you're winning, you don't change anything. You don't get a streak very often. And when you finally get one, you don't change anything. You keep doing what you do. Right? Go back to the old, the thought process for Kevin Costner in the movie Bull Durham. When you're on a streak, you don't mess with the streak. You don't do anything different. Keep doing what you're doing and keep winning. 877-867-1670. Coming up after the top of the hour, we're going to talk some Packers football. We'll get back into that. Also in the next hour, the winner of the Indianapolis 500. We had talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and he discussed what it would mean to win the Indy 500, plus what it's like racing at Road America. And all of that's coming up as well, so stay tuned for that. Got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show coming up on this Tuesday edition. Beautiful weather today, too, by the way. The Tuesday edition of the Bill Michaels Show on the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. We'll be back right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program, The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on today on this Tuesday, the 1st of June, 75 degrees. It is picture perfect outside, very little breeze, blue skies, sun is shining, man. I tell you what, it was great riding weather over the weekend. It was nice riding weather yesterday. Got on the motorcycle a little bit, hoping to get the boat back soon. Got to head up to Wausau to my buddy Dwayne's Cover It All up there to get it back, and then hope to get the boat in the water. And looks like it's going to be in the 90s, they're saying this weekend. The 90s. Originally, when I said 82, I was giddy. Now it's in the 90s. I'm one of those people, though, where the hotter the better. Now, I'm not the 111 dry heat type of person hanging out in Arizona. But if you get it up into the mid-90s and it's humid, and I love it. I grew up in that stuff, so I absolutely love it. I know some people hate it, and it almost might be too hot for some, but I will never complain about being too hot in Wisconsin. Never. Never. Because we pine for warm days. We're not San Diego. We're never going to have 75 and sunny, 80 and sunny every day. We're not San Diego. So when you get heat, bring it. Bring it. The faster you can warm up the lakes, the more you can warm up, just whatever it happens to be, whether it's just greening up your lawn, a little bit of rain and some warm weather, whatever. I'm all for it. Doing things outside. Running, biking, motorcycling, golfing, boating, whatever it happens to be, I'm all for it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, do so. We'll talk more coming up in the next hour about the whole Aaron Rodgers discussion. Didn't want to get into it in the first hour. I mean, we had, obviously, Eric called from Madison, and he wanted to talk a little bit more about it, but we'll get into more of that coming up here in a little bit. By the way, the Texans are signing expatriates running back Rex Burkhead. Also, Stephon Diggs restructuring his deal with the Bills. So today is June 1st. It's a big day in the NFL. There could be cuts today. There could be restructures today. A lot of things can happen on June 1st when it comes to this date in the NFL calendar. So big day for, and we'll continue to watch, what goes on. So we will see. By the way, a story coming out of NBC 15 that I saw a little while ago. It says that Wisconsin appears to be closing in to hiring a successor to Barry Alvarez. The university said today that the Wisconsin Board of Regents is going to meet in a closed session tomorrow to consider an employment agreement and compensation for the new athletic director. That's the sole item on the agenda, as Barry Alvarez announced on April 6th, stepping down. His retirement takes effect beginning of July. So they've got to find somebody. They've got a short list. They know who they want. They're going to make an offer. We know that. It's coming up. And they'll get the deal done. But that's the sole item on the agenda coming up for the Wisconsin Board of Regents as they make a decision on the successor for Barry Alvarez. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up? Plenty of ways to do so. Find us on the Bud Light live stream. You can chime in over there. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all that kind of good stuff. Ronald says the Packers drama, no way to run a football team. Both sides are now acting like spoiled kids. Rick says my buddy from Denver said he's tired of the Aaron Rodgers speculation. He says sports radio in Denver talks nothing about nothing else. All I can say is hold my beer. Right? It's funny because I know out there with the group from Mile High Sports, my buddy Eric Goodman out there calls me, once a week, twice a week, and we chat, and he always wants to know my thought on this or my thought on that, and Rodgers this and Rodgers that, and what's going on behind the scenes out there. And they believe that John Elway is doing his magic, and that there was a discussion between Rodgers and Elway while they were playing golf, and they feel that the Denver Broncos are still going to give Aaron Rodgers over the next year or two the best opportunity to win a championship. Therefore, he's going to go there, and they think he's coming. I mean, out in Denver, they believe he's coming, and the fact that Rodgers is not saying anything is not angering one, but now two fan bases. So we'll see. We'll see. 877-867-1670. Again, 877-867-1670. So we'll see if it actually, if silence breaks here soon. Remember, next, what is it, a week from today, I think? I think it's a week from today. Yeah, a week from today is the mandatory mini camp, of which if Rodgers doesn't show over those, few days, he can be fined up to $90,000. Now, a $90,000 fine for a guy making, what is it, 27, 28, $30 million is a moot point. But that's when it's mandatory, and that's when you're leaving your guys' cheese hanging in the wind. So we'll see. We'll see if Rodgers actually shows up for that. In all likelihood, he doesn't. But stranger things have happened. He could just come riding back into town and say, "What was a big deal? What was a big deal?" And the conspiracy theorists believe that's actually what's going to happen. Who knows? We'll talk more about that coming up. And in the next hour, the winner of the Indianapolis 500. We had a chance to chat with him prior to the 500. He was then a 3-time winner. Now he is a 4-time winner of the Indianapolis 500. You're going to hear from Helio Castroneves. That is coming up as well. Stay tuned. We got more. 3 more hours loaded of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
In a row for the Milwaukee Brewers as Luis Urias would hit a home run shot in the 10th inning. Yes, a walk-off win for the Crew as they would defeat the Detroit Tigers 3-2 yesterday afternoon. Also getting involved, Willy Adames would hit a 2-run shot for the Brewers while starting pitcher Corbin Burns struck out 7 over 6 innings of work in which he allowed just 1 run on 6 hits. Here's more from Burns on his team overcoming a tough stretch to get a win streak together.
I mean, that's baseball. I think every team in a season, every good team anyway, is going to have one of those stretches that you have to overcome and get through. We had a couple meetings of, hey, let's just keep pushing through it. It's going to turn around. And I think that the DC series was kind of that turning point for us. We threw the ball great. We hit the ball well, play good defense.
To the NBA, over the weekend saw the Milwaukee Bucks sweep the Miami Heat 120-103 on Saturday in Game 4. The Deer now will move on to the Eastern Conference semifinals to face either the Brooklyn Nets or the Boston Celtics. Currently, the Nets lead the series 3-1 and play tonight with the tip-off at 6:30.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Rural Mutual Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Wisconsin State Fair. As a thank you for your support, they're giving away State Fair tickets. Visit ruralmutual.com/win and enter to win State Fair tickets.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
A key date is here between Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers because if the franchise were to trade Rodgers before June 1st, they would save just $5.646 million in salary cap. But if they traded the NFL's MVP after June 1st, they would save $22.85 million in 2021 cap space. The two sides still seem at odds as Rodgers still has not reported to OTAs. For the Wisconsin Sports Zone Network, I'm Ebo.
Hour number 2 of the Bill Michaels Show. Good day to you. Brewers on a win streak right now. Playing some good baseball. You've got to the Bucks. They now wait the end of the series between the Nets and the Celtics. The Nets leading that series 3-1. And that contest with the Celtics coming up later on this evening, 6:30 tonight. Brewers back at it 6:40 tonight. The Bucks continue to rest up. You got Anthony Davis questionable for Game 5 tonight after he's got a strained groin muscle. And he was grabbing the groin when he went down. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. The Aaron Rodgers saga continues. Speaking of the NBA, by the way, Joel Embiid hurt his knee in the Game 4 loss. And we'll see if he's even available as Joel Embiid goes down with an injury. So we'll see if Joel Embiid is injured and the 76ers are kind of a non-factor, then basically, in my opinion, the Bucks and the Nets would be playing for the Eastern Conference Finals in round 2 of the Eastern Conference playoffs. That'd be it. Is the Bucks and everybody else if the Bucks get past the Nets. In the meantime, the discussion about Aaron Rodgers continues on. I was watching earlier today on the NFL Network. Remember Julio Jones demanding out of Atlanta. And there is discussion as to whether or not Julio Jones is actually in contact with Aaron Rodgers' representation about where Aaron's going to play and could they play together. Well, the speculation is that Aaron Rodgers, as the Packers have stood steadfast, they're not going to trade him. The public sentiment is he's not going anywhere. That they're not going to get rid of him. Okay, so it's the team's not going to trade him. He can't trade himself. So therefore, it's either walk away or come back. And we'll see if he comes back. And in addition to that, does he come back with a restructured deal? Or does he decide to say, you know what, I'm going to play out the remainder of this contract, not restructuring anything, and we'll see what happens. So June 8th through the 10th is the mandatory minicamp for the Packers. So we'll see what happens, as nothing has changed. But now you've got a Denver fan base that is excited but irritated because they believe that if Rodgers is to be traded, he will end up in Denver. But since he's not saying anything, meaning Aaron Rodgers, and all of this is speculation, now we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. This is from Mark, says, what does chili chili mean on your shirt? You must be watching on the Bud Light live stream. Remember when Bud Light did the Dilly Dilly, ad campaign? Okay. So in Cincinnati, where I grew up, there is a restaurant called Skyline Chili, and they're like McDonald's. They're on every street corner, okay? And it's unique to Cincinnati. It's called Cincinnati-style chili. Their restaurant did a takeoff of the Dilly Dilly and did chili chili. So that's what it is. There you go. That's it. There's no deep meaning to it. So the Aaron Rodgers stuff, if you will, we're going to talk about coming up. Also this hour, Helio Castroneves, now 4-time IndyCar winner. He was on with us a couple of weeks ago, and we talked with him about what it means to, regardless how many fans are there, but what it means to head to the starting grid at the Indianapolis 500. And then lo and behold, right after he talks to us, a couple of weeks later, he goes out and wins the Indianapolis 500. Now a 4-time champion. And he talks about coming to Road America in just a couple of weeks. Because remember, we are 3 weeks and a couple of days away from heading to Road America. We're going to be up there on the evening of the 17th. The live broadcast is going to be there on the 18th, and our tailgate party is going to be over the weekend. So, and if you haven't signed up for that to win that prize package yet, you've only got about a week left. So please get your registration in. Go to thebillmichaels.com. That's thebillmichaels.com and get registered for tickets for you and 5 of your friends. Tailgate, which we're paying for. We're compliments to everything from our friends at Quick Trip, our friends over at Bud Light, our friends at Robert Specialty Meats, all of that. And then obviously we're going to debut the brand new big unit cruiser there. We're going to camp out with you, hang out with you. You get to watch the game. I mean, all of that stuff's taken care of. So go to thebillmichaels.com. Thebillmichaels.com. And this was from Cowboy Joe, who says Aaron Rodgers is holding us all hostage right now. I don't, by not speaking, yeah, it's irritating. And he's irritating is he even back from Hawaii yet? Do we know? Have we checked Miles Teller's account? Have we checked his account recently to see if he's posted anything new? The last time we saw him was trolling Packers fans when it said cheers to signing with the Packers. That was 4 days ago. Then he got jumped by a couple of guys in a bathroom. And after that, I haven't seen anything out of him. He's always saying cheers to something, though, by the way. I think he's got something to do with a beer or a drink of some type, some kind of connection to it. So he's always doing the cheers thing. But no, we haven't seen anything from Shailene Woodley or Aaron Rodgers or Miles Teller or anybody like that. So everything's quiet right now. We don't even know where they're at. He could be in Green Bay for all we know, signing a new deal. Everything's quiet, except for those would tell us that constantly watch the flight tracker. Is there a private plane coming from Chico, California, or from Malibu, California? You know, we'll see. 877-867-1670. Kinger, you might be right. Rodgers may have hired somebody to go in there and jump Miles Teller. Shut your mouth. Quit posting about me. That type of thing, you know. I get it. Derek, hey, Bill, great show as always. Not sure if this has been mentioned before, but I love the Brewers starting their games at 6:30 instead of 7. Does sound like much, but it's just early enough that my 5-year-old can watch the whole game with me and still get to bed at a decent time. I think they do that during school, and then they'll go back to the 7 o'clock hour starts out once school is out. That might be, I think that's the reason they do that. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the reason they do that. They started a little earlier. And especially since people aren't working downtown anymore, why not? You know, everybody's working from home. So everybody's getting out of their house about a half hour early than they used to. And since people aren't working from downtown, I tell you what, downtown, I was downtown on Friday night. It is a ghost town, man. It was good to see the bars and restaurants with people in them. Was at my buddy Gino's pizza place, San Giorgio, on Friday night, and it was good to see the place was crowded. It was back to being, wasn't on a wait, but all the tables were taken, and that was great to see. But still, you drive around downtown, you know, there's not many people downtown. I mean, Northwestern Mutual, Manpower, some of those big real estate brokerages, even City Hall. I mean, they're all still pretty much empty. There's not a lot of people in the town. Boy, I tell you, one of the things downtown Milwaukee anyway, selling their rooms pretty cheap because there isn't any convention business and the events have not really begun yet. You may start seeing an influx of people as the NBA postseason is now underway and they're back to full capacity at the Fiserv Forum. So you may start seeing the hotels come back a little bit, but there's a hotel chain, big, that is selling their rooms pretty cheap. And we're talking like in the 40s and 50s, $40, $50 for a night. Let's say this, it is not attracting the element you would want downtown. It's kind of a catch-22. You got to sell your rooms as cheap as you can to get as much business as you can. But on the other hand, it's what are you attracting? Oof. Just saying. 877-867-1670. This one's from Jane. Jane says, when is Aaron Rodgers going to finally speak? The team is not going to trade him. He's not going anywhere. He doesn't He hasn't said a damn thing about not wanting to come back publicly. He just plays these goofy mind games with everybody. When is he going to just man up and say something? 877-867-1670. That's a great question. That's a great question. Apparently, now I do not subscribe to Sports Illustrated. I don't a lot of these publications, specifically online, I've kind of gotten rid of. But the headline that just came out via the MMQB and Andrew Brandt said the latest on the standoff in Green Bay, plus a little known story about the legendary kicker Adam Vinatieri and two high-profile players hoping to make it into new places. But it says the headline is, under the business of football, Rodgers speaks. Rodgers speaks. So maybe he did. Maybe he did. Now, Ben Roethlisberger spoke. He said that he wanted to, quote, come back as quick as possible. If they wanted me back, I felt I could give them everything I got. He says it was his idea to take the pay cut. He felt, quote, it was necessary to do so to put the best team around me. There's a novel thought. There's a novel thought. By the way, the piece in Sports Illustrated, when it says Rodgers speaks, I guess, and Ben Kenny producing the show. Ben, now does that refer to the Kenny Mayne interview?
Yes, they were talking about his appearance on Kenny Mayne.
Okay.
And we talked about the culture and the people. And
yeah, then there's nothing new there, basically, right? Oh, well, we'll see. See when he finally comes out. When do you think Aaron Rodgers speaks, Ben? When do you think he comes out and says something?
I feel like it's going to be a lot of the same until training camp. There's going to be a standoff. No one's really going to come out. They're going to use media leaks. And then come training camp, I feel like once it gets to crunch time in terms of getting a deal or getting him traded, that's when he'll come out.
And that's one of the things that I wanted to allude to today was when does this story become more relevant? And I think it's training camp. I said first when all of this broke that I thought, well, right after June 1st, maybe June 2nd, there's a deal to be done and he's all of a sudden a Denver Bronco. But the more that I hear, the more that I think about this, who benefits from hanging on the longest? Probably the Packers. Because if they get him back, then all is well. And if they don't, they can pretty much, you can look at teams going into training camp and say, okay, give me a haul for this guy. Now there are teams that want him in training camp as soon as possible. I mean, the Broncos would want him there right away so he can begin learning their system and working with their guys and such, if indeed that's the way the trade goes. But I think it behooves the Packers to hang on as long as they can. So I don't think this becomes a story until training camp. I think they'll even wait out the first couple weeks of, say, the preseason before there's any kind of a decision made. It doesn't behoove the Packers to say, we want to deal him, we're going to trade him, he's not coming. I mean, because then the price goes down. So I think that this is going to be a continual non-story story until training camp, probably until the first week or so of the preseason. And if Rodgers isn't back by then I think something is done. But I don't think the Packers sit on him and say, we're going to keep you and hold you down for a year. I think that they will make a deal because you can't get nothing for him and watch him walk away. I just don't think you can do that. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Andrew Brandt, by the way, said the Aaron Rodgers update is going to be the same as what the Deshaun Watson update was and the Russell Wilson update was. The team is not going to trade him, and he can't trade himself. Perhaps something changes, but I wouldn't count on it. And I think that's exactly right. I think it's exactly right. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. At what point do you feel that this becomes a necessary discussion when it comes to the trade of Aaron Rodgers? At what point do you believe that the Green Bay Packers have to make a decision on Aaron Rodgers? Stay tuned. A lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program, Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. The stupidity of fans continues to amaze. Between the Wizards and the Sixers, did you see this? Where the some idiot rushed the court, stormed onto the court during the Wizards-Sixers game yesterday. He got drilled though? He got drilled. Now, I'm going to retweet this in case you haven't seen it yet, but he got drilled. His clock was cleaned, and he got taken out by Wizard security. The Capital One Arena security leveled this cat, but they didn't show him getting pummeled after the fact. It all went down late in the third quarter of Game 4 when the fan sprinted from the stands onto the court, flailing his arms around, and he jumped up and tapped the backboard, and then he got drilled. He tried to run off the court, and it was a Ray Lewis type of hit, man. It is right in the gut, taking this cat down. Even Dwight Howard, the Sixers center, walked over and looked as if the guy was going to get up, like he was going to knock him back down. Now the Wizards say that he's banned from the arena. I want to see arenas charge these people to the max. The NBA has had some serious issues with fans over the past week, from that spectator spitting on Trae Young, Kyrie Irving getting a bottle thrown at him. Not to say he deserved it, but acting like a total jag, stomping on the Lucky Charm out in the middle of the Boston Celtics arena after the game. Come on. And then Russell Westbrook getting doused with popcorn the other day. This is the most that I can remember. Part of the problem is that we have gotten to the point where just laws don't mean anything. You know, they just don't. And it's sad. It's sad to see the erosion of all of this. But the fan got absolutely drilled. Ben tells me the Boston water bottle thrower, he's getting charged, right, Ben?
Yeah, he's getting charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon.
He should. I hope these clowns see jail time. I really do. I hope these clowns see jail time for this, because there's no reason for that. And when you do this stuff and you walk away with a fine, it's no big deal. It's like your buddies will pay it. You know, if you get dared to do it, your buddies will pay it. I want to start seeing people like fined, or not fined, but go to jail for this stuff, because there's no reason for it. And then they're the first ones that'll complain if they get drilled and taken to the ground that, well, they hurt me, they injured me. It's the same person that walks in, robs a bank, and gets shot, and then you can't believe they got shot. It's like, sorry, you commit a crime, you're going to get shot, period. You know, you're going to go in and rob a bank, and you're going to come out after brandishing a weapon. Yeah, you can't believe you got shot. Well, then put the weapon down. So same thing, where this guy runs out onto the court, and he's probably going to be the first one to say, I can't believe they tackled me. I got a concussion from hitting my head on the floor. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Rogers stuff. The calendar turning over to June, we all know. I don't think it's going to be any kind of a significant moment between the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. Apparently, according to The Athletic, the Packers remain committed to not trading Rodgers, despite the salary cap ramifications of trading a player after June 1st. Rodgers still, as far as we know, still angry with the organization. They're trying to get him back. From what we understand is the Packers have basically said, here, whatever you want, we'll give you. And he won't come back. He's still under contract technically for 3 more seasons. But you got Jordan Love waiting in the wings. But the Packers want Rodgers back. I mean, and if Rodgers could be traded, it would quite a salary cap, dead cap hit over the next couple of years, instead of taking on the entire $38 million this year, which would be an NFL record for dead cap hits by one player in 1 year. The team could actually save significant amounts of money on the cap this year and next if they trade him, while lessening the immediate financial impact on the move this year. It would be a tempting scenario if Rodgers truly is digging his heels in on never playing for the Packers again, especially if the team could get significant resources back in a trade. Then again, if the Packers are committed to doing everything necessary to get him back, the trade doesn't make sense. It won't happen until after all the other avenues are exhausted. So now we just wait and see. The next important milestone, as I had mentioned, will be later this month. You got the mandatory 3-day minicamp, which is on June 8th. And we know Rodgers would be fined almost, it'd be like $90,000 and change. if he doesn't attend. But then again, Rodgers is already missing out on the $500,000 workout bonus after skipping a big chunk of the offseason workout program. So money isn't an issue at this point. So for those of you thinking that he's going to come back on June 8th, other than it being mandatory, the fine doesn't matter. So we'll see. But that's kind of where things are at. This is from Kathy. Kathy says, so sick and tired of the diva. Be a man. Well, this is about the third person today that says be a man and say something. Be a man and say something or live up to your contract. You want all these different concessions in your deal and you wanted to be treated with respect, and now you don't care who you treat with disrespect. It's after the fact. It's almost, well, I don't want to get into all of that. But Kathy, I get what you're saying. I understand it. Look, this is going to be the same discussion, I think, for the next month. And if this goes through the mandatory and then the other workout and then into July where there's nothing going on in July, if this goes into that, then I would say this is going to last all the way probably to the second week of preseason. You know? And I know there's a lot out there about whose side are you on. And look, I don't think you have to be on a side. I think as a Packers fan, you want to see the best team on the field and your chance to win a championship. I think that's it. And I know there are people that hold spite and say, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Get what you want, but trade them. You're going to trade them where it's going to give you the best deal, where it's going to make the most sense for you to be able to get as much as you can in return. Put it this way. If you trade him to Denver, and it does make sense to trade him to Denver. However, Denver's not a bad team. They need a quarterback. Let's just say Denver is the real deal this year and you trade him away for Denver's first round draft choices over the next couple of years. What are those going to be? You're not getting top 10 because Denver more than likely is going to find their way into the postseason. And they're not going to win a championship in their first year, but quite possibly the second year, maybe. So Denver's not going to find their way into the top 10. That means you're going to be trading away for what, a 15th or lower draft choice? Now, an extra first round draft choice is always nice. But again, unless you hit on it and it's the real deal and you're picking up Hall of Famers, you're trading away a Hall of Famer for a lot of prospects that may not even be good for 3 years. So you better be getting starters in return. Mary Lou says, trade him for Deshaun Watson, joke for joke. I would not trade for Deshaun Watson if you paid me. There's no way. There's no way. Not at all. Here's the thing. Let's just take this for example. Let's just say Deshaun Watson is found, nothing happens. I'm not saying found innocent, but let's just say nothing happens. The lawsuits just fade off into the sunset. Charges aren't filed, which, by the way, I can't believe that it's taken the Houston prosecutors and investigation to go this long into this. I mean, you talk to people, you go through this. There's got to be enough there at some point or another to whether or not this is correct. But I don't want a guy that is surfing Craigslist to find massages from women. I don't want that creeper in our backyard. I don't care what he does. If he's cleared of everything, I don't care. I don't want that creeper in our backyard because it's proven. This is what the guy did. They've got his text messages. They've got his Craigslist account. They got all that stuff. No. Darren says the goal is to win a Super Bowl. Thus, we need Rodgers in the fold. I'm interested in 2021. We got a great line, good backs, Adams, Tanyan, and done developing the receivers. You also have some defensive pieces. Green Bay is set up to win now. Rick says the only trade I'd make is for Derek Carr and 2 first-rounders. See, I'd want Carr and whatever else I can get depth-wise defensively. I don't want a bunch. Don't give me 3 first-round draft choices. Don't give me that. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Ben, you're right. And Ben's hitting me up on Instant Messenger. He said, hey, don't forget Rogers going to be in the match in July, the golf match. We may get something then. What do you expect? I don't expect him to kind of spill his guts on the golf course, do you, Ben?
No, I don't think he will, but I do think Brady and Mickelson will try to get it out.
Do you think they're going to try to have him talk? I can't imagine Brady trying to get him to commit to a team, maybe joking, something to that effect, but I don't think I see him committing to a team. Do you?
No, but I think it'll be part of the trash talk.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? As much as they kind of shaded him on Twitter, I can only imagine what it's going to be like in person for that match. But then again, all the shading might come prior to the match, and once they get into the match, then it's no holds bar on competitiveness. We'll see. Let's do this. We're going to step away, take a quick break. When we come back, he's now a four-time champion of the Indianapolis 500. Helio Castroneves came on the show a couple of weeks ago and talked about what it's like to take to the starting grid for the Indianapolis 500. Only running like 6 events this year, and he wins the Indianapolis 500. Coming to Road America, he talks about Road America and about that kind of a place and what it means. So we're going to hear from Helio Castroneves. If you missed it the first time, you can hear it this time because he just 2 days ago won the Indianapolis 500. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
It's finally summer, Gina Della from Pella. You know what that means.
For sure, Mark Chimura. Can you believe it? In just a few months, chilly winds will be sneaking through leaky windows and doors.
But Gina, it's summer. Time for cookouts, golfing, and heading to the beach.
Exactly my point, Chewy. Sure, you and your friends are getting outside, enjoying warm sunshine and fresh air. But if you want to host Game Day Packers parties in comfort this fall, you've got to call Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin now.
Gina, I already have energy-efficient Pella windows, but you seem to be on a roll, so...
Depending on the style and materials you choose, you could upgrade your home with Pella windows in as little as 8 weeks.
Bring it home, Gina.
And right now, you can choose 40% off installation or 6-year no-interest financing.
That's into 2027.
You're not kidding. Just order by June 30th. Set your free consultation now at PellaWI.com/radio or 855-PELLA-WI.
Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Glad to have you today. As it was over the week, as many of you who recognize this, but Helio Castroneves was on the show a couple of weeks ago and came on and discussed the Indy 500. He's only running a few races this year, and he talked about what it would be like to win again, which he did. And many of you recognize that because he goes on to win the Indy 500, which was, I mean, you talk about exciting anyway. But the fact that he, as a youngster, we'll say, he ended up winning his first 500 and then climbed the fence, became known as Spider-Man of, kind of the, winning races. He would climb the fence and thank the fans and all that kind of stuff. And he became known as Spider-Man. And then he continued to do it. Well, he won it 3 times. And this year he's on a limited schedule. He's only going to race about 6 races, but one of them was the Indy 500 this past weekend. And lo and behold, he won it again. So I thought, you know what? Let's take a look back because just a tremendous guy and really anticipating coming to Road America this year for the IndyCar race. And then who knew that he would go out and win his 4th Indy 500? Helio Castroneves from earlier, and I'd asked him, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
So how many races are you running this year? Because you're running what, 6 Indy races or more?
I'm only racing 6. Hopefully we add more. So it depends on the result. And after Indy, I'm feeling great that we're going to race more than just 6 races.
Well, that's great. You and I talk so much about Road America, but first and foremost, I got to ask you, obviously, this is a big month, Indianapolis 500 coming up. You've a 3-time winner of that. Does it ever, being on that starting grid, getting announced, fans screaming and yelling, does it ever get old?
Never. This place is magical. Every time you come over here, you're always getting prepared for the Super Bowl of racing. And for me, just to be part of it, it's just awesome. Now with the new team, Meyer Shank Racing and Auto Nation Series, it's absolutely a great opportunity to refresh these new things so that I can try to chase, and I've been chasing that number 4, and hopefully we can accomplish with the new tools that we have this year.
Now, I know you guys are usually racing against one another and you're racing on all different types of tracks, but it's got to be energizing to finally have fans back in the stands, right?
Yeah, every time you have fan around, especially in this place, such a traditional place, such an icon place, it's a great spectacle in racing. So having the fans back, even it's 40%, not 100%, is still able to give us the positive energy and make us entertain like we used to be.
Now, I know you raced a long, long time with Roger Penske, and Roger Penske said, if you can't hold a race outdoors without social distancing at Road America, you can't do it anywhere. So you're going to have a capacity crowd to see you guys race when you come to Road America. Talk a little bit about the track, because the track has stayed the same, but the amenities have gotten better, and it's a show place right here in the Midwest.
Yeah, first of all, Road America is so close to the headquarters of Rev Group. And Rev is being an incredible support of the IndyCar Series and especially Road America Racetrack. They've been sponsored the last 3 years. And not only that, they're really able to help the first responders. So the first responders that come to the racetrack, they're able to get into the track and watch the race for free with their family, that's absolutely awesome. So for me to be part of this organization for the last 5-6 years, it's just great. And Road America is not only an incredible place, but it's a forest with a racetrack in the middle. So people can come and enjoy everything you want. The race, a little bit of camping, and whatever you want to do. But it's a beautiful racetrack, and everybody really likes, especially the drivers and teams love to be around that area.
Not only do you race up and down hills and such, and long straightaways and carousels and such, but it's only so wide. It's not like you can race 3-4 cars wide in this thing. It's usually side by side at best, and it makes it very difficult to pass, doesn't it?
Well, every place has your characteristic, and sometimes with the long pit stop that you have, strategy becoming a big play, but the speeds are really high. And but I do feel that in Road America, you have a lot more places to pass, great opportunities for passing than others. But it's a great place. It's enjoyable. It's fast, and it's fun too.
So as you, and I don't want to say age or such, but you're kind of the veteran of the group. Let's just say you are able to cross the start-finish line first at Indianapolis. You've done it 3 other times. What would winning it this time mean to you?
Being veteran in this place, it means absolutely nothing. In fact, I want to teach some new kids a few lessons, which would be fantastic. So love to be racing again with those guys, and I'll be ready. Well, I hope they're ready.
Well, you got a lot of new faces in the sport too. I mean, you're kind of the veteran with the target because you've been there, done it. They all aspire to be you. They probably grew up watching you. So being the veteran now, you not only want to pass down your knowledge, but you also have to remember you're kind of the guy with the target on his back, right?
Yeah, no, it's all joke aside, they've been doing great. It's just a testament of the series. It's been absolutely incredible, giving chance to the new young generation. and we are having. I mean, all of a sudden, a few new drivers that start winning, and for the first time, which is great. I'm great to see them doing that. I was one of them in the past, but trust me, I was not light it up just because they're young. But I can't wait to be racing again with these young kids and pursue my number 4 win.
Elio, it's always great to talk to you. We look forward to having you guys in Wisconsin real soon. We look forward to seeing you there too. Stay safe, and then we will talk again when you get to Road America, okay?
Thanks, my friend. The same to you.
There you go. That was 4-time now. 4-time. When he joined us, he was 3-time winner. 4-time winner of the Indianapolis 500, and it was so good to get him on because we had him just before he goes out and then wins it, and we're really looking forward to getting him back. Hopefully he comes back and joins us at Road America. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll remind him. I mean, like, hey, every time you come on, you get mojo, man. He the last time he came on with us, he won. So, he won over at Road America was the last time he came on with us. So hopefully he comes on with us again and maybe gets another shot at going forward at Road America. But just exciting. Really, really exciting that he went out and got a win. Good stuff. Let's do this. We'll step away. We'll take a quick break. I wanted you to hear that because I thought it was a little bit of foreshadowing into that interview as to how excited he was to get back out for another shot at winning an Indianapolis 500, and sure enough, he did. So really, really cool stuff. Elio Castroneves. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to get a hold of us, go ahead and do so. When we come back, here's a question for you. I know your gut reaction. Okay? I know your gut reaction to this. But as much as your gut reaction, think about it before you shout it out. Your gut reaction, do sports need the media? I can hear you. I get it. I understand it. But think about it. We'll talk about it when we come back. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program, The Bill Michaels Show. On this Tuesday, we are glad to have you. Beautiful day out. Looks like the weather's going to be perfect going into the weekend. Weekend's going to get hazy, hot, and humid, that type of thing. So things are looking up. If we could just get Aaron Rodgers to head off to camp next week, that might not be a bad way to go. Next Tuesday, a week from today, is the day that the Packers start mandatory mini camps, and we'll see if Aaron Rodgers actually shows up. Hey, a reminder, we are brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Next Wednesday night, not tomorrow, but next Wednesday night, June 9th. Next Wednesday night, June 9th. If you are in the Milwaukee area, Cherry Pie takes the stage at the Budweiser Pavilion. And it's the first Wednesday night live in over a year, as they didn't do it at all last year, obviously. It's the first time that there will be a mass gathering in the city of Milwaukee of this type in over a year. Live music is back. And if it's a night like this, let's just say today it's supposed to be 75, 80 degrees. And in the evening, it'll be about 70 degrees. Oh, my goodness. You'll get 5,000 people out there easy. It is going to be a fantastic night. But please come and join us Wednesday night, June 9th. It is Wednesday night live at the Budweiser Pavilion at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. A lot of new renovations going on at the Wisconsin State Fair Park. And by the way, we will have the happy hour live stream will take place live from there, 5 o'clock next Wednesday night, June 9th. And we're going to preview Wednesday Night Live, and we're going to preview the Wisconsin State Fair with the executive director, Kathleen O'Leary. So another good happy hour live stream coming up next week. 877-867-1670. Edward says if they pay Rodgers too much, it's their own fault because he has not demanded any more money. They are offering it. I don't know what Rodgers behind closed doors has demanded. I don't know if it's just merely his quote version of partnership, or if he does want to be the highest paid player in the NFL, or if he wants to be paid more money because you got guys like Jared Goff making more money than him. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he's demanding right now. I mean, the original rumor was that he wanted more guaranteed money and to be guaranteed more years, so he didn't have to worry about outliving the Jordan Love contract, that he could just get it out of the way and be done. And then the Packers balked at that. So I mean, I don't know. I think the rumor is now the Packers have said, whatever you want, we'll give you. And Rodgers has still. So, Rodgers specifically wants. He hasn't said. When he talks about character and philosophy and such, and you know, treating people with respect, and you know, I think that is what he cares about more than the money right now. But he's never shied away from signing the big contract. You know, the Packers, the last time this deal came up, the Packers wanted to make him the highest paid player and make him a Packer for life. So, I don't know. We'll see. 877-867-1670. Coming up in the next hour, I want to continue on the question as this whole discussion about do you or do sports need the media? I think it's interesting. The topic came up, and here's the reason why. Okay, and you may know where I'm going with this. But there is a tennis player, Osaka, and she has self-described some mental health issues and does not want to talk to the media. Now, she has basically stepped down from the French Open and says, I'm not going to be a part of this. And on some hand, she said the best thing for her was to withdraw from the French Open. Naomi Osaka. She's doesn't want to, take away from the French Open, and she wants to take some time away from the court. It was one day after she was fined and threatened with harsher sanctions for skipping the mandatory media obligations. So the question is, do sports need the media? Because if you're being fined for not talking to the media, some people say, well, who cares? It's the media. But I it's a legitimate question, and I want to give you my perspective as somebody in the media, but as a fan as well, because Kinger right away is like, nope, don't need you. I caution that. Okay, I caution that. So, and I'll talk about it when we come back, because I think there's two sides to this, and I want you to look sternly at both sides, thoroughly and sternly at both sides, because I think there is a hand in hand that has to be understood. So we'll get into that discussion coming up the next hour. We'll talk more about, obviously, the Packers and Rodgers. Big weekend for the Brewers. Brewers back at it again tonight after that big, between Urias and Hira combining in the Brewers walk-off win yesterday. And their streak continues after winning 5 straight. The Bucks sitting and waiting for the Brooklyn Nets to finish out that series with the Boston Celtics. That game 5, is coming up tonight as the Nets lead that series 3-1. So we'll get into that discussion. But there's a lot going on. There's a lot of good sports in Wisconsin right now. I want to talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit. By the way, real quick, our buddy Steve from up in Richfield says a few thoughts for the weekend. First of all, the Poppy sale for the American Legion in Grafton was a huge success. 3-day total, $5,400. Congratulations to you. Brewers, like all the refreshing things on the Brewers played small ball. What I think was lost was a defensive play by Colton Long. One hell of a play at first by Keston Hira. And in left field as well, pitching. The Bucs series between them and the Nets going to be great. This may be the series of the entire playoffs. Bryn Forbes and the bench going to be a tough test for the Nets. Packers, no comment until Aaron Rodgers. The whole thing is over. And heading up to Tomahawk in the area tomorrow for an extended weekend, a fishing trip with the boys. I am not in the Tomahawk area, but I would love to be, and my mind will be there with you. Steve, hang in there. Got a lot more. We're halfway through it. 2 hours down, 2 hours yet to go. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show is coming up, and it's coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers have won 5 straight games. That's after a 3-2 walk-off win over the Tigers yesterday at American Family Field. Luis Urias knocked in the winning run. Shortstop Willie Adames said Urias actually called his shot.
It was amazing. He told me before the inning when we were going to the dugout, he said, I'm going to walk it off. I said, I know you got it. It was amazing to watch it. It was even more because, he told me that he was going to do it. So he had that confidence, in himself, that he was going to do it, and we were just there supporting. But I know it's big for him and for the team to get that win.
Unfortunately, the win came at the cost. Outfielder Lorenzo Cain headed back to the injured list with a hamstring injury suffered yesterday. Magic Craig Council isn't sure how long Cain will be out. Brewers and Tigers going to meet again tonight in Milwaukee. Turning the Bucks after a couple of days off following their series sweep of Miami. Going to return to practice court today. They still don't know who their opponent will be, but it's looking like Brooklyn. They currently lead the Celtics 3-1, and their series can close it out tonight.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Rural Mutual Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Wisconsin State Fair. As a thank you for your support, they're giving away State Fair tickets. Visit ruralmutual.com/win and enter to win State Fair tickets.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Packers are still set on not trading Aaron Rodgers. That, according to The Athletic. Today, the first day that the cap hit for trading or releasing Rodgers would be more manageable, but GM Brian Gutekunst still not willing to entertain the idea, despite Rodgers reportedly telling some within the organization he does not want to play for the team again. And UW Board of Regents set to meet tomorrow to vote on the hiring of Barry Alvarez's replacement as athletic director. Among the potential candidates, current Deputy AD Chris McIntosh and Ball State AD Beth Getz. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome, hour number 3 of the Bill Michaels Show, and man, we're glad to have you. Glad you're here on this Tuesday. I know a lot of people off this week. Kids are back at school, but this is probably their last week or second to last week of school. There's some families that might have taken a long weekend, extended vacation. Weather's pretty good, that's for sure. So a lot of good stuff going on, and kind of getting you ready for summer. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to hit us up, feel free to do so. 877-867-1670. This is an interesting question. Naomi Osaka. In case you haven't followed the story, she withdrew from the French Open. She's a tennis player, and she did not go to the mandatory media session. Okay. And some people say, well, no big deal. You didn't go to a media session. Who cares? She was fined $15,000, and then she was threatened with harsher penalty. She says she never wanted to be a distraction, and that her withdrawal is the best thing for the tournament. I think I know the best thing for the tournament, for the other players, my well-being, is that I withdraw so that everybody can get back to focusing on tennis that's going on in Paris. I never wanted to be a distraction, she says. So, the French Tennis Federation had a brief statement to the media following her withdrawal, but did not take any follow-up questions, basically saying, first and foremost, we're sorry that she decided not to play. But she says, I'm not a natural public speaker and get huge waves of anxiety before I speak to the world's media. I get really nervous and find it stressful to always try and engage and give the media the best answers I can. The announcement prompted support from the 17-year-old American Coco Gauff, who tweeted in response, I admire your vulnerability. Stay strong. Martina Navratilova also chimed in. And there's a lot of people coming to her defense. That's fine. Players are saying, hey, if you don't want to talk to the media, we stay strong. We support you. Okay, I understand all of that. Here's my issue with this. First of all, when you sign up for this, become any type of a pro athlete, this is what you get. This is nothing new. This is nothing that all of a sudden you're like, oh, I didn't know it was like this. Come on. Secondly, think about where professional sports would be without the media, without ever going before a camera or a microphone. Think about all the players that say they want to get their message out and their brand. Well, if you don't ever talk to the media and the media just decides not to cover you, where are you at? If there isn't an ESPN and there isn't a sports talk show like this, and you're shouting into the wind, unless people are finding you as a community, think about the coverage. Teams, entities like the NBA, the NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, they need the media. NASCAR need the media. Because without us, without the commercials, without the stories, without your favorite drivers, without seeing your face, without people aren't buying the jerseys and buying the hats and keeping organizations afloat, you're not making the money. If the media doesn't cover you, you're not getting this kind of money. I'll tell you that right now, if you don't get television contracts. And I mean, players usually, when they get into a city, the first thing they do is get themselves entrenched with a team and then get themselves on 2 or 3 or 5 local radio stations paying you $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 a piece. You're making extra money. And that's your platform. You're getting your message out, whatever your message happens to be. But you know what you sign up for. Now, I do appreciate the fact that, look at a guy like Zach Greinke, who had that social anxiety. What I have come to understand, and I'm in no way making light of or diminishing social anxiety. I've seen people that have it, and it gets to them. I have two friends, both of which can't even ride elevators with people, but yet they can speak publicly. They are speakers. One is a vice president of a rather large company and goes around speaking motivationally to other companies. So it can be done in a certain way. Sometimes fielding questions can throw you off guard to come up with a good answer. But it takes a special person to be on all the time. So I don't mean to diminish it, but look, you have got television cameras looking at your every move, close-ups of everything from your body to your facial expressions to, your injuries, very intimate things. You've got thousands and thousands of spectators with their eyes upon you, not to mention those around the world that are watching. And I get it, because you have to get into a closed room and be shuttled in and shuttled out to answer questions from the media. And some of the questions are just flat out stupid. I understand that. But this is what you sign up for. This is what you do. Edward says when Chris Sabo played for the Reds, he didn't talk to the media. He did. He didn't say it all the time. He didn't meet all the time, but he did. He was available. Edward says, if you don't have anything to say, then why do the interview? Because there are questions to be answered. It's not that you have anything to say. It's that, media has questions. They have things you want to know. And look at it this way. If there isn't a need for the media, if there isn't a need for outlets like this, then why are you here? Think about it. Why are you here? Because you enjoy talking about it. It is a discussion, whether it's adults in a bar talking sports, sport talk radio, watching ESPN, the NFL Network, Fox Sports, Fox Sports 1, NBC, ABC, CBS. I mean, go through the list. Then why have it? If there is no interest from the fan, then why have it? It's because there is an interest. There isn't it, but you know what you sign up for when you do this. Edward says, did they sign up to play the sport of the interview? What do you think? Do you think coming into a sports... I mean, look, there's going to be a lot of people that say they don't need the media. And in the reality is you're wrong. Where do you go for information if you don't have the media? Just the team's website? Where would you go? Think about it. There's easy cliche things you can say. Edward, you're wrong. The sport is a whole. When you sign up for the sport, you're wrong. You know exactly what it is you're signing up for. This is what you have to do. It doesn't say, oh, by the way, you got to do media interviews. It says these are mandatory. This is what you have to do. We have to promote female athletes. We have to promote an upcoming player in the world. We have to promote all of that to get otherwise, why do it? We have to promote it for our sponsors. You have sponsors you have to answer to that want you to speak. That all comes with it. That's all a part of it. So if you think you don't have to say anything, tell me who's going to sponsor you. If you're not going to do anything on their behalf, who's going to sponsor you? If you're not going to talk, if you're not going to interact, if you're not going to present yourself in a certain manner, if you're not going to be good, if you're not going to be covered, who's going to want to sponsor you? Where are you going to get the money? Ed says, I watched the game. I don't care what the players have to say. You're wrong. Think about all the storylines you follow and you know about because this is what you do. I know it's easy to say, but in reality, it's not when you think about it. It's so intertwined. There's a ton of money, a ton of exposure, because otherwise, who cares? If you're not being covered and you're not doing interviews and you're not doing any of that, it's kind of like if a tree falls in the woods, does anybody hear it? Thomas says, as much as I don't agree with the media sometimes, they are needed for sports in coverage. Say Sterling Sharp was the biggest hypocrite. He wouldn't talk to the media, but then became a TV commentator. Absolutely. Brian says, if you want to be labeled as a professional, then act like one. Not speaking to the media is childish, like a spoiled brat. If you have now, I'm not saying you have to seek out the media and you have to go do a bunch of interviews and all that kind of stuff. But for certain things to promote your sport, if you're asking the sport to give you something, then you got to give back to the sport, no matter what it is. Why do you think, we'll take it out of the realm of sports because sports is entertainment. Why do you think the actors and actresses go on the tour when they release a new movie, when they're out there doing all the interviews? Why? It's to promote the movie. It's to promote what it is they're doing. Please come and look at this. Kinger says, are you telling me that a 7'5", 18-year-old basketball phenom from Chile gets drafted to the NBA? He knows he's signing up to talk to the media? You bet your sweet ass he does. You bet your ass he does. He knows when he gets here, the media is going to want to talk to him. You better believe it. And the fact that he's going to the NBA, don't you think that in his home country, he then becomes a phenom as well and talks to the media there? Think about the contingent. Like, remember when Hideo Nomo first burst into Major League Baseball? He was so unbelievably covered. And he didn't want to talk to the media all the time, but he knew he had to. Because he had to promote Japanese baseball players coming to America to play Major League Baseball. That's what you do. So I get it that there's a lot of sleazy media out there. There's a lot of people that you don't want to hear from. There's a lot of useless interviews. I get that. But you can't swipe it all away with one broad brushstroke because there's a need for that. It's just that's the reason the NBA mandates that you speak to the media after the game. That's the reason Major League Baseball does. That's the reason you have to have every player available in the locker room for the NFL on a Wednesday. Every player has to be made available at some point on a Wednesday because the NFL knows you have to promote our sport. You have to. That's the reason they have media sessions with NASCAR. That's the reason they have autograph sessions. That's the reason they force you to do this stuff. You have to have interaction to promote the sport. You must. To answer your question, do they know signing up for that? Yes. This is what you have to do. Now, if you have social anxiety and you say, I can't do this right now, can I do this later? Sometimes there's flexibility. I can understand that. There is an anguish to that for some people. But even Zach Greinke, who was a terrible interview, but he even spoke to the media. And a lot of the times, if the media understands that and they're respectful of that, think about this. She chose not to. But should she happen to go before the media and somebody asks her the question, tell us about social anxiety so you can spread the word for others that have the same issue that can look up to you. Edward, you're wrong. I'll totally disagree with you. And Joe, I'm not dismissing it. I have talked about it time and again. I've talked about it time and again. So no. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to hit us up, please feel free to go ahead and do so. I'm not dismissing the mental disorder. No, I'm not. I understand it. But you can't say, I want all the money, I want the fame, I want the adulation, but oh, by the way, I don't want to put the work into it, both on and off the court. There is the word professional when it comes before the addition of money and the responsibility that goes along with it. That's all of what you sign up for. You can't act ignorant to the fact that this is what you have to do. 877-867-1670. Hang in there. More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes.
Bill Michaels Show back, and glad to have you. Great discussion. Naomi Osaka has decided to withdraw from the French Open because she says that she has an anxiety and does not want to talk to the media, does not want to answer questions. And the French Open has said, no, you will talk to the media. And they fined her. So she decided to back out of the tournament and say that she is going to step away from playing tennis for a while. And it has started an argument as to whether or not, professional athletes need to talk to the media. And now I agree. Look, if you're a college player, they protect you pretty much. But then again, what really bothers me is they want to be covered. They want the media to discuss them, much like college athletes. They want the media to discuss them, give them the props, give them the praise. But yet they don't want to be before the cameras. They're very much protected by the schools. And I get it. It's a fine line until, of course, they're stars and they're Heisman Trophy candidates and such, or star players. And then all of a sudden, they want to promote the hell out of them. This is our player. Look what we've grown within our system. And all of a sudden, then they're trying to milk the cash cow. There is a level of hypocrisy that comes with all of that. Now, again, going back to the mental disorder side of things, it's hard for many to understand, and I don't even fully claim to grasp it, how one can go and stand before tens of thousands of people, play a game, let out their emotions in many different ways, whether it's jubilation or the anguish of defeat or injury or what have you. And then turn around and say that they can't talk to anybody. I don't understand that. I don't suffer from that. I don't claim to know a lot about it. But what they're asking is, hey, especially if you're good and you're becoming one of the faces of the sport, they want you to promote the sport. You're there for that. And sponsors want you to be out front and they want to pay you. And that's ultimately you're becoming a professional because you want to be paid. Otherwise, just stay playing in the amateur ranks and you don't have to worry about it. But once you sign up to be a pro, you know what you're signing up for. So that's where we're at, is there's this discussion about whether or not you need the media. Think about wiping out the media. When we've got people saying, well, I'd still watch the games. Where are you going to watch the games if you don't have the media? If you don't have the media and you just decide we're going to just do it without the media, that means you're not on any television network. What do you think? What do you think Bally Sports is? What do you think Fox Sports is? What do you think CBS is, or ABC, or NBC, or think of ESPN? Think about all of that. That's the media. That's why you say we don't need you. The hell you don't. Otherwise, the only way think about paper coverage. Where are you going to get the scores? Oh, I'll get it from my phone. There's an app. Well, okay, but isn't that the media? That's what I'm saying. It's easy to say it's the media's fault. We'll throw the media out. And I understand with you, there's a lot of bad media members. Okay. There's a lot of people that are looking for clickbait. There's a lot of people, as it's put, hell, I've done it at times. If there's a big story, you write it up, you try to get it out, and you put it out there for people to discuss. It creates followers and those that want to pay attention to something that you have to say. That's what we do. But you try to I shouldn't say try. You keep it in the realm of truthful discussion. You don't make crap up. There's some that just make it up to try to get, and eventually you lose your credibility that way. But when it comes to the media, not everybody's out for just clicks. They're really genuinely trying to cover the sport and trying to cover the story. And there's a lot of good stories. Who do you think the Packers turn to when they want to promote a charitable event? The bell ringing campaign, we'll say, when they work in conjunction with Salvation Army. What do you do? They just think they stick somebody out in front of Lambeau Field and hope that you drive by and see it? No. They say, hey, by the way, Equinemius St. Brown or Jair Alexander or somebody's going to be ringing the bell at, the Festival Foods or Pick and Save or Woodman's or whatever it happens to be on this time. 877-867-1670. Kelly says, hey, you are wrong to have to stop the stigma. I struggle with bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder. The WTA and the French Open officials, what they were thinking what they said. We don't care about mental illness. This is serious. You don't treat a 16-year-old girl this way. It has nothing to do with what she signed up for. You want to read my story. I was featured on a virtual walk April 26, 2020 with Active Minds. Out of the Darkness walks and a, okay. I'm trying to read all this. It's coming across as I go. Send it to me. Kelly, send it to me. I'd be happy to talk about it. But Kelly, you tell me this. Why then would you put yourself in that situation if you can't do it? And B-Rad says, how messed up this country is. We tell them to shut up and play their sport, but yet there's an obligation to speak. Oxymoron. No. We don't tell them to shut up and play. I don't do that. What we tell them is there's a certain time to speak up. And you're mixing it up, and you're trying to create a hypocrisy where there isn't one. Okay, when people say, I want protests out of sports, when I want my athletes to shut up about things other than sports, it's within the realm of sports. Okay? Because every athlete has different platforms to say different things. Every Wednesday, and we'll just take the NFL, for example. Every Wednesday, the media gets into the locker room, and there are the players. At that point in time, every player has every possibility to speak to any media member about whatever it is they want to speak about. They can say anything they want. And the media has the ability to either choose to run it, not to run it, talk about it, not to talk about it, whatever. Okay, but that's their platform. But I think what we get caught up in is when there's protests and people say, shut up and play, they're trying to get away for those 3 hours of maybe some of the things that are going on in the world around us. And because you're inundated with it on the news, on radio, on TV, on everything. You know, you're inundated on virtual, on social, everything. You're inundated with that stuff. So you're kind of looking for that escape. And I understand that side of things. But every player has that ability. Everyone has that ability to say something, whether it's in social media, but mainly in interviews where they're going to get their word out. They're going to get their word out. So whether it's an individual NBA player, NFL player, a team specifically, whatever it is, there's a fine line for all of this. And you want to throw a lot of things out there and act like it's a hypocrisy, and it's really not. You know, LeBron James can tweet anything he wants out. He can do any individual interview he wants. No problem. Now, right or wrong, message heard or message denied, whatever it happens to be, he then has that on him. What people are saying is we don't want to see it in the realm of the game. So, and again, I'm not one to say that, but I'm just simply saying that that's where that shut up and play came from. Look, I think, let's be honest, sports figures are people too. They have a right to their opinion. It's whether you agree with it or not. It's whether you turn them on or turn them off. That's your right. But to say, shut up and play, I think is wrong. Bill, you're right and you're wrong. Team sports and individual sports are a different dynamic. Aaron Rodgers is a piece of the team in which there are others to cover, but in sports like tennis, golf, and boxing, the individual is the team. But also, you're right, but the individual is also then the spokesperson for their sponsors and for their realm of the sport. He says boxing fans want to watch Mike Tyson fight, not talk. What if the media requirements cause boxing fans to miss Tyson fights because he won't talk? That example aside, is it reasonable to create a discussion about the legitimacy of the entire sports media over the issue of a single tennis player, J-Rod and Marshfield? No, I think what it brings up is the discussion of, you know what you're signing up for, and there may be some difficulties that come with it. But I think it's not just about playing the sport. It's about everything that once you start taking a paycheck, you're a professional. You can't then say, I didn't know, or this is not what I signed up for, because you have to know going in, this is what it is. I mean, the French Open says this is mandatory. Everybody has to do it. Everybody. And if you have one person starting to bow out, whether it's over social anxiety or what have you, then their fear is that other players will say, well, if they don't have to, I won't have to. And they'll start using those excuses as well. It's about the promotion of your sport. It's about the promotion of you. It's about the promotion of that tournament. It's what those officials, those people are paying you to be there for. It all comes with it. You can't act like you didn't know. I'm not diminishing any of the mental aspects of this. I'm saying if you have to go there and you are uncomfortable, you can tell people, say, look, I'm really uncomfortable with this. She's done a great job of expressing herself. And she, from what I understand, is she's going to take a little time away from tennis to be able to overcome some of the fears of this speaking issue that she has, this anxiety. And Greg, you're right. He says, look, networks pay millions of dollars for rights to broadcast tennis and help the athletes make tons of money beyond us normal people who do not have microphones following us. It's the cost of being a professional. You're 100% correct. You can't just say, well, I just want to watch the game. Where do you think you're watching the game? On television? Because otherwise, if without the media, you're going to every game to see the game. And without the media, you don't know what the result is. Think about everything in your life that has media coverage in some way, shape, or form. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. It's a great discussion, and I appreciate everybody that came along and discussed this. It's just something take with you from the show today and think about it. Because I get you don't want to hear the interviews, okay, what have you, but without the media, then what do? I don't need to hear the interview, but yet you're intrigued in Sports Talk Radio. You're here listening to the stories. Everybody's got an opinion. When is Rogers coming back? Why isn't Rogers coming back? Why isn't he going to speak? What is he going to say? Everybody, believe me, the majority of people that are listening to this program right now give a damn about that. Otherwise, what are you here for? Right? You and I are exchanging ideas and thoughts and recognition of a lot of different stories. And those are real. 877-867-1670. Hey, don't forget, speaking of real, that if you want something real right now, 6 years, no interest financing at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. They got good stuff going on. That ended. Or did it? Because now they've got an offer. If you want to upgrade to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, right now you get 6 years, no interest financing. It did not expire, but you can take a choice or 40% off installation. How about that? They're giving you the choice. So 6 years, no interest financing. It did expire, but it didn't. It's still around. They're offering it, or you get 40% off installation. If you buy more than a pair of pretty offers, you can go to Pella Windows and Doors right now. And, hey, they're number one, by the way. They're more than just a pretty offer because they're number one for highest value, highest quality, and highest innovation. And the most preferred window, according to 2021's consumer survey. How about that? Instead of just a few lines and a bunch of standard sizes to fit most homes, Pella offers 9 lines of different windows, with each one custom measured and made to your home specific needs. And they're installed by Pella certified installers in as little as a day. You can order right now by the end of the month for your choice. 6 years, no interest financing, or 40% off installation. Pick one. Set up that free consultation today. The free consultation today. Go to PellaWI.com/radio. That is Pella, P-E-L-L-A, PellaWI.com/radio, or give them a call. You can set up that consultation, whether it's in your home or actually in one of the experience centers or just over the phone. Go 855-PELLA, P-E-L-L-A, 855-PELLA-WI, 855-PELLA-WI, and get those windows and take your choice, whether it's 40% off installation or 6 years, no interest financing. How about that from our friends at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? More of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back to the program. Glad to have you. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. You want to give us a shout, please feel free to go ahead and do so. Hopefully you're enjoying your day on this Tuesday as, the weather's perfect. I mean, it doesn't get much better than this. It's beautiful outside. Holy mackerel. Holy mackerel. Got into a terrific discussion just before about, the discussion regarding Naomi Osaka deciding to step away from tennis and to not talk to the media and kind of regather, so to speak. Norm writes, the networks make money from the coverage of the games, advertising dollars for high ratings. The interviews after the games are not generating direct income or at least TV. So media interviews are nice to have, not absolutely needed. The NFL made money 30 to 40 years ago without much extra coverage. Norm, you just proved your point wrong. You just proved your point wrong. Look at how the NFL exploded with coverage. Look at how the NFL, after a year of no fans and lack of advertising, decided that they had to cut back the salary cap rather than make it larger. You're completely wrong. They make the coverage of games is the coverage of its entirety. It's expanded dramatically over the years. Why do you think now during the game Fox goes into the clubhouses or into the dugouts to talk to managers? Because it's what people want. Why do you think they're miking up players in the All-Star game? Because it's what people want. It's something more. People want more. Why do you think that for the longest time, the one page you couldn't find in a newspaper when it was laying out at the office was the sports page? Gossip columns. People want to know. Why do you think that the number one online show for a long time to start out was comedians in cars getting coffee with Jerry Seinfeld? It wasn't on TV. It's because people want behind the scenes. They want to know more. Why do you think reality shows are the number one broadcast? Why do you think they completely got rid of sitcoms? Because people want to know more. People want to hear more. That's why. So to say that it doesn't matter, the outcome of games matters. Absolutely. But why do you think there is so much behind the scenes? Why do you think there is so much attention paid to post-game press conferences? Why do you think there is a demand for us to carry what Matt LaFleur says every Wednesday? Why do you think that's the highest ratings we get are on Monday after a game, Wednesday when Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers speak, and on Friday when Matt LaFleur speaks? Why do you think that is? To say it doesn't matter, you're 100% wrong. I mean, I can monetarily look at it and say, what do people want to sponsor? Anything and everything. Packers, coverages, press conferences. Not the game. The game they want to, but by the way, that's the most expensive territory to sell. But the pregame and the postgame, that comes along with it. Completely wrong. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Completely wrong. To say, I mean, I can sit here and talk all day about the Brewers and the Bucks and the Packers, but if we had a press conference with Aaron Rodgers, if we had a press conference with, let me ask you this. If you don't need it and you only watch the game, I guarantee you, if Aaron Rodgers called today and said, I'm coming on your show, this would be the number one rated show in America. In America today. Not just in Wisconsin, but in America, because everybody wants to know what he's thinking. Why do you think Kenny Mayne's show, an interview with Aaron Rodgers, the ratings went through the roof? Biggest ratings they'd had outside of a non-sports event. And it was actually rated bigger than many of the NBA postseason games. Why do you think that is? You couldn't be more wrong. Couldn't be more wrong. 877-867-1670. Back to that, by the way. This is from Jacob. Jacob writes in the email inbox, he says, when do you think Aaron Rodgers will finally speak? He says, Aaron Rodgers has stayed quiet for so long. Don't you think he knows the world is talking about him and going both directions? Why would he want to divide his fan base and stay silent? Boy, that's a great question. If Aaron Rodgers Boy, that's a great question, because I look at it as there's a couple of different ways this is going to go. One is he's just going to be staunch. He doesn't want to say anything to make people madder at him. So you just be quiet, and there is a group of people out there that will say, I'm not going to believe anything until he says it. There's going to be a group of people out there that are going to be against the organization. So you've got 2/3 of the group somewhat on your side. And then the other third is, well, he's a diva. He's not talking. And then, he's like, okay, if I have to go with 2/3 of a group rather than splitting it 50-50, I'll, whatever. But I can't understand why Aaron Rodgers is not saying anything, other than the fact that maybe, and there's some thought process that he is enjoying this.
I'm just here so I won't get fined, Ken.
Right. I get the feeling that he's in some way, shape, or form enjoying this. Or he literally is just so euphoric with his wife-to-be that he just doesn't give a damn. He doesn't care what the rest of the world is saying about him, which I find funny because he always talks about the white noise, but yet if he doesn't care what people say about him, then why does he hold media members accountable? Why does he pick and choose who he does and doesn't want to talk to? If it doesn't matter, then who cares, right? You talk about the guy where everything matters, and he listens to everything. I know for a fact there are certain media members that listen to what goes on around the state and run to him to tell him what people say about him. Same thing with Inside the Walls of 1265. And they run to him and say, did you hear what they said about you? And then he will shut them down. So he only talks to a select few. That's what I'm saying. If you're on the inner sanctum, you're golden. If you're not, it's hit or miss. So I don't know why he hasn't spoken, unless he just doesn't care or is enjoying this. I don't know. (877-867-1670) 877-867-1670. Hit us up. (877-867-1670). That's a great question. I don't know why Aaron is not speaking. Let me mull this over. We'll talk a little bit more about this when we come back. 877-867-1670. I find it interesting. Stay tuned. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up right after this.
Ready? This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Put in a pocket. How we looking? The Bill Michaels Show continues on. I want to remind you that our friends at the New Mail Medical Center, medical experts. There's a lot of people out there claiming they can do certain things, but they are the original at treating guys with ED. As a matter of fact, they have a 98% success rate. That is 98% success rate when it comes to low energy, brain fog, feeling sluggish, moody, up and down, whatever it happens to be. They can help you out with that as well. That could be low T, low testosterone. If you're over the age of 30, go get tested. Doesn't take long, about 10, 15 minutes. And they can let you know if you need a program that they need to start you on. But whether it's ED, low T, there could be the all-in-one weight loss program. You could use that as well. Or just feeling good, kind of a vibrance to you. They can help you out with all of that. But you can't do anything if you don't call. Or if you know somebody that's going through that and you're kind of like, man, they just won't talk to anybody about this. Call. Say, here, I'll take you. There's 2 locations in Wisconsin, Milwaukee and in Green Bay, and they can help you out. They truly, truly can. 414-455-4451. 414-455-4451. Tell them Bill Michaels sent you again. 414-455-4451. That's our friends over there at the New Mail Medical Center. And this portion of the program also brought to you by our friends at Quick Trip. They are the official convenience store of summer with the lowest legal beer prices on 24 and 30 packs. Official provider for the brand unit cruiser. Oh, can't wait to get that thing. Hopefully next week. I think it's coming next week. Jason said every sport has an action and analysis. We as fans want both, but if the media requirements are going to interfere with competition, resolution needs to be in the best interest of the sport. You're proving my case. But if the athlete is not going to propel the sport, let me say this, and this was a good point. Jason said, let the athlete play if they choose not to talk to the media, because there's now talk about suspending her. Naomi Osaka of tennis, because she has bowed out of the French Open because she got fined for not speaking to the media. She has this social anxiety that she just said it's very difficult for her. So there has been a discussion about possibly just suspending her. Look, if you're not going to promote the sport, this is what being a professional is. And if you don't want to be a professional, compete. No sponsors for you. And if you win the tournament, you don't collect the money. Because if you're going to be a professional, this is what we do. You know it coming in. This is what we do. You can still compete. If it's about the sport and about competition, then you can go ahead and compete. But we are not going to pay you if you win, because that would then be a professional. If you're not going to be a professional, then just be a competitor. Think about that. That way, you as fans still see what you want. But that particular player is, how long would that player then compete? Probably not very long. If you're not going to make a living at it, then what's the point, right? Exactly. So if you're not going to make a living at it, then why compete? Go get another job. You can still compete, but you don't get paid. Maybe that's what they say. How many people are going to do what they do if it's not for the money? And with the money comes obligation. Period. That would be my solution. John says, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers not speaking, it could be because that staying quiet is his best course of action. That way he can't walk back any of the reports or any of the statements later on down the road. Plus, he preserves his image regarding State Farm, etc. That's true. That's true. I don't know why Rodgers, though, at this point, I mean, if you're just preserving your image for State Farm, I mean, that's the last of my worries. Again, we go back to image. Your image is you're a competitor. Your image is you are going for your legacy. And your legacy is being just ripped apart right now in many different facets. I don't know. We'll talk more about this when we come back. Stay tuned. We got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
Well, the Brewers have won 5 straight games. That's after a 3-2 walk-off win over the Tigers yesterday at American Family Field. Luis Urias knocked in the winning run. Shortstop Willie Adames said Urias actually called his shot.
It was amazing. He told me before the inning, when we were going to the dugout, he said, I'm going to walk it up. I said, I know you got it. It was amazing to watch it. It was even more because, he told me that he was going to do it. So he had that confidence, in himself that he was going to do it. And, we were just there supporting. But I know it's big for him and for the team to get that win.
Unfortunately, the win came at the cost. Outfielder Lorenzo Cain headed back to the injured list with a hamstring injury suffered yesterday. Patrick Craig Council isn't sure how long Cain will be out. Brewers and Tigers going to meet again tonight in Milwaukee. Turning the Bucks after a couple of days off following their series sweep of Miami. Going to return to practice court today. They still don't know who their opponent will be, but it's looking like Brooklyn. They currently lead the Celtics 3-1 and their series can close it out tonight.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Rural Mutual Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Wisconsin State Fair. As a thank you for your support, they're giving away State Fair tickets. Visit ruralmutual.com/win and enter to win State Fair tickets.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Packers are still set on not trading Aaron Rodgers. That, according to The Athletic. Today, the first day that the cap hit for trading or releasing Rodgers would be more manageable, but GM Brian Gutekunst still not willing to entertain the idea, despite Rodgers reportedly telling some within the organization he does not want to play for the team again. And UW Board of Regents set to meet tomorrow to vote on the hiring of Barry Alvarez's replacement as athletic director. Among the potential candidates, current Deputy AD Chris McIntosh and Ball State AD Beth Getz. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heil.
Welcome back to the Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. Thanks to all of you for watching us on the Bud Light live stream over on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can always hit us up on the website. Go to Bill Michaels, thebillmichaels.com. That is thebillmichaels.com. And if you want to get a hold of the program, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670 if you want to find us or chime in on the program. We were talking before about why Aaron Rodgers hasn't spoken. And Amy said, who hit us up over on the Bud Light live stream, said A-Rod doesn't need to speak. It's in Goody's court right now. Boy, it's still a really interesting question, because if he does speak and answer legitimate questions, then he's basically making a determination, right? If he does speak, he's making a determination. If somebody says, Aaron, do you or do you not want to come back to the Green Bay Packers? He's forced to then answer that question. And that's a decision. Okay, if he says, you know what, I want to come back, but I want to come back under the right circumstances, then it is basically telling other teams, don't worry about him because they're going to work it out. If he says, no, I'm absolutely do not want to come back, then it lessens the Packers' ability to trade him, and it immediately alienates him from this fan base, and he becomes, in many cases, kind of a hated man with no team to go to. I mean, there's no determining team, so he has no fan base to welcome him in, so he takes the wrath of every Packers fan who basically says, well, then screw you, get out of here. Because that's pretty much the way it is. People will side with the organization because the team is bigger than any player, when in reality, it's not necessarily that you're still going to cheer for the team. It has the words Green Bay across it. It doesn't have the words Mark Murphy or Brian Gutekunst or Matt LaFleur or anybody else. But you, in your head, you're all saying the same thing. We're all saying the same thing. Like, how in the hell did we get to this, right? How in the hell do we end up in this craptastic situation again with a Hall of Fame quarterback? You know, how do we get here? So if Rodgers speaks, he has to walk something back in one direction or the other unless it plays out exactly as to what he states. But in the meantime, speculation continues, and I'm sure he's smiling. Aaron Rodgers, if you are in the PR world, okay, Aaron Rodgers is a headline almost every day of the week. Almost every day of the week. From the time that this story broke over a month ago, he has been the headline almost every day. He's a headline in Denver right now. He is a headline in Green Bay and in Wisconsin. He is a headline on ESPN. He's a headline on the NFL Network. He's a headline on Fox Sports. He's a headline everywhere. Everywhere. I mean, unless something is stated, can you imagine how many cameras are going to be following the Green Bay Packers on day one of the mandatory camp a week from today? And let's say that Flight Tracker picks up a private jet that's going to be landing at Austin Straubel from California. How many cameras are going to be there to see if Aaron Rodgers is getting off as he walks from the plane? Right now, he's the number one story. I bet you he's sitting there right now kind of smiling. I mean, think of the speculation that he has had. He said he's the second highest rated and wanted host of Jeopardy. Ken Jennings, the all-time winner on Jeopardy, is, I think, the Jeopardy fans' favorite. That's kind of their choice. But if you want the name Aaron Rodgers is second highest rated to go host Jeopardy. Or he's coveted by both the the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos. Those two fan bases want him. He's coveted by the Packers fan base. He's an NFL ratings draw right now. He is going to be highlighted, and the ratings for the match are probably going to be huge. That may even be part of the deal. Hey, Aaron, don't say a damn thing. You know, if you're not going to do anything, don't say a damn thing. I mean, think about the match. If he does not show up for the mandatory minicamp next week, think about the ratings for the match coming up in July between him, Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson, and Tom Brady. Think about those ratings, because everybody's going to be waiting for something. Everybody's waiting for something. So it's just interesting. He's not saying anything, and he's just angering a lot of people, not because they hate him. It's just because his image is a diva. His image is, I won't say anything. You'll know when I tell you. You know, you get that kind of condescension, even though he's not saying anything. That's what people are feeling. Oh, he's a diva. Don't let the door hit him in the ass on the way out of the state. That type of thing. But Ronald says, do you think that the wide receivers are going to hold out the first day out of respect for Rodgers if he does not appear? Boy, Ronald, that's a great question too. Because, I mean, you would assume MVS and Equanimeous St. Brown, and I mean, those guys are locks to be wide receivers for the Packers, but I still think that your rookie guys with something to prove. You're on rookie contracts with something to prove. Man. Again, my question becomes, and I'm sitting here right now. I just flipped over during the commercial break back to the 4-letter network, and there's the headline. What do you really think will happen with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers? It's the number one thing people are talking about. So when you bring that up, let me ask you this. What is the end game? I always ask myself that. What do you gain by your action? What do you gain? So if I'm a wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers, if I'm Davante Adams, what do I gain by sitting out? Showing solidarity for my guy. So put it this way. If I'm Davante Adams and I talk to Aaron Rodgers and I'm like, you know, hey dog, what's going on? And Rodgers says, you know what, man, it's been great playing with you, but I will retire before I will come back to the Packers. Go have a great career, man. You deserve all the money. You deserve the accolades. Okay. Then I'm Davante Adams and I'm out there busting my ass. If I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come back, maybe I do sit out to say, hey man, we got your back. We got your back. So when you come walking back through that locker room door, you're the guy. We get it. We're showing solidarity for what it is you're saying and what you're stating, that we think that this organization is treating people like interchangeable bits and cattle rather than human beings, about money being paid, development of players, guys being let go, whatever is angering you to the point that you're not showing up and this saga is going on. We got your back. Because if you believe he's coming back and you don't want to piss him off and you don't want to end up on the wrong side of Aaron Rodgers in his spiteful ways, then you're sitting out. So to me, if these guys are sitting out, then this shot back don't want to, and they want to remain in solidarity. But if they know he's not coming back, if like, dude, go enjoy yourself. Go retire, go get married, go do Jeopardy, go visit the Dalai Lama, go back and make peace with your parents, whatever it happens to be. You go be you. And then, you know, hey, if I'm Davante Adams, I'm like, hey, I'm going to either one, play out one more year, or two, I'm going to get a contract extension. Or maybe I'm going to force a trade. Maybe I don't want to come back to Green Bay. You threw out Aaron Rodgers. I've got 1 year left. I don't want to play this last year and run the risk of getting hurt. For you? For Jordan Love? I don't want to do that. So either trade me or, you know, or rework my deal. and give me security. I don't want to come back for that. But if I'm some of these younger guys, why am I? What's the end game? Why am I sitting out? What reason would I possibly have for sitting out of training camp or for sitting out of mandatory OTAs, especially somebody on your rookie deal that you're paying quite a bit of money to? Because then the fines, I mean, the fines then are real. It's one thing about losing a workout bonus. Okay, yeah, all right. You hate to, but you do. But this, no. You don't want to start getting fined for this. So I always ask what the end game is. And the only thing I can think of is the end game for wide receivers to be holding out, showing solidarity for Aaron Rodgers is they believe that he's still going to come walking back through that door. And they don't want to end up on the wrong side of Aaron Rodgers' angst and his spite or anger or whatever it happens to be. Or maybe they just truly, honestly believe in what he's saying, that we're tired of the draft and develop. We have a good team here, and you're letting guys go. Now, if that's the case, then Aaron Rodgers has to step forward and say, don't let this guy. Aaron Rodgers could pin the organization down. He could pin them down. If he really had that angst in his heart and wanted to pin them down, he could say, he could come out right now and say, I offered to take a pay cut. Restructure my deal. Just give me more years. Just spread out the money that I'm already making. Don't worry about paying me anymore. I'll take a pay cut. Just put the best guys around me and keep the guys we develop. Keep some of these guys. They're good players. He could then completely destroy Gutekunst and Murphy. He could completely destroy him if he chose to do so. Right? Because if he wanted to say that, and that could be his message, but he can't come out and say, hey, I can't believe you let Corey Linsley go. I can't believe you let this guy go. I can't believe you let that guy go. Well, Aaron, if you're going to be 20% of the salary cap, we kind of have to. We can't afford to keep everybody and keep re-signing everybody. Once they get good, we got to figure something else out. You're making all the money, dude. So now, you know, it would be back on Aaron Rodgers. If Rodgers wants to be the highest paid player, as some reports have stated. Now, I don't know what the truth is, but some have said he wants to be the highest paid, period. From now on, he wants to be the highest paid. There's been contracts that have been written that have said, if somebody comes along and makes more than you, you will then automatically make $1 more than them that season. So you will always be the highest paid player. Who had that? I can't remember what might have been in baseball. Somebody had that contract at one point. John says, I think Rodgers wants to be the good guy out of this. It shouldn't matter. Even if he left, he'd get a hero's welcome the day he retires his number here, a la Favre. See, but at some point, if you're traded away, there's the recognition that you wanted to go. That we are all sitting here again via the consternation of how in the hell does a Hall of Famer get to this point with the organization? He would be considered the good guy to a certain extent, but if he's not going to refute the fact that the reports are he doesn't want to come back to the Packers, I can't imagine that there are going to be a lot of people that are sitting out there that are saying, you're right, get the hell out of here. Unless they just don't want him around anymore. Then it's like, get the hell out of here, but it's not in a good way. But if they trade him away, I guarantee you, if they trade him away, they're going to say, we offered him everything. We offered him everything he wanted. He just didn't want to be here anymore. And that's all they need to say. Drop the mic and walk away. Because then it's up to Aaron Rodgers to defend himself. This is not over. There's a lot more to. Right now is everybody's in their own bunker. There's still the war, but everybody's in their own bunker. Everybody's in their own bunker right now. But this isn't over. This isn't over. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. This is not over by any stretch of the imagination. Hey, our friends up at the Four Seasons Island Resort, a lot of good stuff coming up. A lot of good stuff coming up. If you haven't been to a wine dinner at the Four Seasons Island Resort, here's your chance. They got a wine dinner coming up. Friday, June 18th. If you're not going to the IndyCar race, you can be checking, or you could be. You could go up there on the June 18th, go to the wine dinner, and then come down for the race. Friday, June 18th, the summer wine dinner in the Diamond Room. 5 courses, each paired with a complimentary wine. $75 a person. That includes tax and gratuity. Get a hold of our girl Barb to set up your seat today. B-A-R-B at thefourseasonswi.com. Barb at thefourseasonswi.com. Don't forget all Marinette County ATV trails. They're open. They've got trailer parking, lock and loaded. Right there. Golf, the river course is open on Mishano Island. You can enjoy the par 34 9-hole course. It runs right along the Menominee River. You got woods around it, bunkers, big greens. They got stay and play packages going on right now, memberships, and even group rates for outings. You can book your tee time right there on the website. Go to the Four Seasons, thefourseasonswi.com. Not to mention the hotel's open. Restaurants are open 7 days a week. 55 luxury rooms can relax in the huge indoor saltwater pool, jacuzzi, sauna, all that kind of good stuff. The Boundary Water Sports Bar, the Diamond Room, the Upstairs Lounge all have new menus, plus some of the favorites remain. And if you need to book a corporate event, they have 10,000 square feet of banquet space right now. Get a hold of our girl Barb, 715-324-5800, 715-324-5800. And if you're looking for a good weekend to go see some waterfalls, the waterfall capital of Wisconsin, they have guided waterfall tours as well. Again, 715-324-5800. Ask for Barb, extension 101. 715-324-5800. And make sure you tell them we want the Bill Michaels special. Okay? I keep telling you that, and I go wink and a nod. People are like, yeah, that's a big steaming pant load of crap. No, I've had more than a few people that say, I can't believe I got that. 715-324-5800. Get a hold of our girl Barb right now. Right now. Good stuff at the Four Seasons Island Resort. Stay tuned. Got a lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up right after this.
This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
How we looking? Looking around the house. How we looking? Bill Michaels Show continues on. Good discussion. Good stuff today. Really good stuff today. Brewers back at it tonight. 6:40 is the start time. You got the Bucks still waiting to find out who's going to be their next foe. You got the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics tipping off later on tonight in Brooklyn. And if Brooklyn wins it, that is the next foe, which we believe they're going to be the next foe for the Milwaukee Bucks anyway. But that'll make it official tonight. So you've got some reasons to watch sports. The Lakers tied up with the Suns at 2 games apiece. You've got a knee injury to Joel Embiid. You've got Anthony Davis out with a groin injury as well. So things are looking a little different in the landscape if injuries decide to play and rear their ugly head into the postseason. Hopefully it doesn't. We saw it happen to Dante DiVincenzo. So you just hope it doesn't happen to an integral piece like, Drew Holiday or Giannis or anything like that. 877-867-1670. So the question was posed to me, and it was like, well, look, why hasn't Aaron Rodgers spoken? There's and it's a good point. If you speak, then it's out there. And you have to then figure out a way to walk it back if things begin to go sideways. So, and I get it. I completely get it. 877-867-1670. You're right. If Aaron Rodgers decides, look, I'm not going to say anything, and he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to right now. I mean, eventually, if he comes back, no matter where he comes back, he's going to have to speak. But if he decides, look, I'm not going to say anything until it's time for me to walk through somebody's training camp door, well, then so be it. It is what it is. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. This is Randy. Randy writes in the email inbox. He says, Rodgers is smart to keep his mouth shut. He keeps everybody guessing. Everybody wants to hear from him. The world is going to pay attention when he finally does speak. Where do you think that he speaks next? Do you think he goes on the Pat McAfee show, or do you think it's going to be in some other phase, maybe with the Packers or a new team? I don't know. He says, he also says that Rodgers has nothing to say right now, nothing that construed good. He's coming. He loses his leverage. If he tells people that he wants to go elsewhere, he loses his leverage. If he tells people he wants to retire, the team loses their leverage. So for Aaron Rodgers to say nothing is in his best interest. It drives us crazy as fans. We all believe he's off being goofy with Shailene Woodley somewhere. Maybe he needs to trim that hair and take a shower. Trim the hair and take a shower. I like that. That's funny. First of all, let me say this. I think Aaron Rodgers is pretty clean. I think he's got people to clean him if he needs to. But you're right. With all the speculation, if Aaron Rodgers had anything to say or to discount or to discredit, he would have said it. The fact that he's letting it all hang out there means it's all true and it's all spinning. But again, I always say, well, what is the outcome? What is the outcome you desire, and your actions, how you get from point A to point B to get it? It's not so much with Aaron Rodgers. It's probably more so with the wide receivers. If that indeed is a show of solidarity, my question then becomes, well, what is the outcome you desire? If, let's just say, and this is absolutely, John writes, the outcome that they want is Brian Gutekunst to be fired. If guys are sitting out to say Aaron Rodgers behind closed doors did want Brian Gutekunst to be fired, he is Jerry Krause. This is the last dance. He wants him gone. He's the guy that's wrecking the machine. Then that's what they're holding out for. They're waiting to see what the outcome is going to be. I can understand that. I don't think that's what they're looking for. Because you look at the draft choices that he's made, just the draft choices alone, okay? Take Jordan Love out of it, all right? Let's just say Jordan Love was never picked. You believe Eric Stokes, the defensive back out of Georgia, really solid, good speed. Josh Myers coming in and taking over for Corey Linsley, another center from Ohio State. Amari Rodgers, they got a wide receiver, good speed, big kid out of Clemson, okay? Daryl Slayton, I should say. The defensive lineman out of Florida. Everybody believes he's going to be solid up front. Okay, get rid of the rest of that. Then you look at A.J. Dillon, Kamal Martin, John Runyon. They've all been contributors. Rashawn Gary has started to come on. Darnell Savage Jr. had a hell of a season. Once you got past like week 6 or 7, maybe even 8, Darnell Savage Jr. played extremely well. Elkin Jenkins, guy's a mauler. Right? Now, Jay Sternberger is not amounted to what everybody wants him to amount to, or Kingsley Keke. He's kind of a backup guy. And there's Dexter Williams, the running back out of Notre Dame. And, Ty Summers, good special teamers, but he hasn't turned into the linebacker. But there's Jair Alexander, right? He's turned out to be pretty solid. We would all admit that. I mean, he was just named, I can't remember if it was Pro Football Focus or who stated it, but he's rated as the #1 cover corner in the National Football League. There's Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Equinemius St. Brown. So he's had good drafts. Not great, but he's put some good pieces in place. So if you believe that, say, Darnell Savage Jr. is eventually going to amount to a Pro Bowler, Rashawn Gary could, Elkin Jenkins certainly could be, no doubt. Jair Alexander is. Okay, so if you continue to stack Pro Bowlers, and let's say A.J. Dillon turns out to be the terrific 2 in a 1-2 punch between him and Aaron Jones, and then say Eric Stokes or Josh Myers or Amari Rodgers, any one of those guys become a Pro Bowl type of player, well, then you're very silently and very slowly rebuilding this team back to being incredibly, incredibly formidable. And you believe that you're already kind of right there on the cusp now, right? So take away the Jordan Love pick, even though, as both you and I know, it was the timing of it just sucked. And bringing in Za'Darius and Preston Smith, bringing in Adrian Amos, bringing in those guys, re-signing David Bakhtiari. So you believe it as a general manager. He's actually done some really good things. So to want him ousted, I think would be, I don't think that's the end game. I really don't. I don't think that's the end game. I could be wrong. But I don't think that's the end game. Our buddy Dan Benno. Now, Dan, are you from the famous Benno's? Benno's Bar in West Allis? Benno's right there on the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds? Or am I a different Dan Benno? You let me know. Or are you related to the family? I would love to know. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. That's why I ask what the outcome is, because I can't imagine that they're sitting there saying, we want Gutekunst gone. We want Murphy gone. Or we're going to sit out. I don't think that's the end game. I just don't. I mean, some may want that, some may think that, but I don't think that's the end game. At least not right now. Hey, speaking of end game, you want the end game for your palate should be just mouth-watering, right? And you get good. It all starts with the quality of beef and meat that you get when you talk about grilling, tailgating. I'm grilling out tonight. I have got some burgers and some chops. I'm grilling out tonight. I've even got some ribs on a stick for my friends down the street. But if you're going to be doing some grilling out, maybe some tailgating, because tonight I'm out on the patio. I'm out on the tiki bar. Okay, I'm heading outside, no doubt about it. Here's a shot of it right there. Heading out there tonight. It's going to guarantee myself, Elmo, good cigar, couple of beverages. Games are going to be on the tube and light a bonfire tonight. It is so nice out. Heading out there. So look, if you're going to be doing something great and kicking off your tailgate season, do it with our friends at Scholze Family Farm. ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. That's ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. They have brats, beef, blue cheese, pork, beer brats, preformed hamburger patties, skinless wieners for the kids. Although as a kid, I never really craved a skinless wiener. Sounds weird. But hey, they're out there. There's snack sticks, even beef jerky. But if you're a griller, a meat griller, steaks, fillets, ribeyes, New York strip, whatever it happens to be, chops, roasts, brisket, ribs, tomahawk ribeyes. You can smoke those things. Oh, they're so good. Fox Smokehouse barbecue sauce, salty provision seasonings, everything from ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. SCHOLZE, ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. How it works, go to the website, find what you like. Get your cut, get your package, whatever it happens to be. Click on it, pay for it. They ship it. It's there in a couple of days. So if you order it, say tomorrow, you're like, okay, I want to grill out this weekend. It's going to be in the 90s. It's going to be perfect. Okay, click on it on Wednesday. Bam, Friday, Saturday morning. It's right there on your doorstep, packed in dry ice, ready to go. Pull it out, thaw it out, bam, right on the grill. Bam. I sound like John Madden now. There's a guy got his meat, bam, right on the grill. So anyway, all you got to do, go to Scholze, SCHOLZE, ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. From their family farm to your family's table. They're good people. And if you're in the Humbird, Wisconsin area or the Black River Falls area, that's in the area the farm is, stop in. They've got a good old-fashioned farm store. You can stop in and see it for yourself. Scholze, SCHOLZE. ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. That is ScholzeFamilyBeef.com. More of the Bill Michaels Show next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Show. We have a couple of segments to go before we get out of here today. Hopefully you're enjoying your day. 877-867-1670, the NTT IndyCar Series coming to Road America. And we want to get you there. The NTT IndyCar Series Rev Group Grand Prix presented by AMR takes to the legendary Road America track June 17th through the 20th. I'm going to be there. We want you there as well. Want you there to join us and come and hang out with us. We're going to set you up with race tickets for you and 5 of your friends. Camping, campsite, tailgate party. We're going to give away the food. Give away the food. Brats, burgers, snacks, beverages, compliments of our friends at Bud Light. I mean, we can't do it without all these great people. Our friends from Road Track and Trail. Go to roadtrackandtrail.com, the best in power sports. The world's largest in power sports. And we're going to set you good stuff. Thanks to them for helping us out, all presenters. Our friends from Kunis RV, the brand new big unit cruiser. Can't wait. I'm actually, what I want to do is if we get this thing next week, I want to do the show there. We'll do the show, our first from our first initial show from inside the cruiser as we pick it up from Kunis RV next week. Hopefully it works out. I'll let you know. But it's going to be awesome. And we're going to set you up with all of this. But you can't get registered if you don't go online to do so. The Bill Michaels, MICHAELS.com. You can register right now. There's only about a week left in this. And then we're going to draw all the winners. And then we're all going to see you, you guys and girls, up at Road America. Really looking forward to it. The tickets, the camping, the tailgating, all with yours truly from our friends at Quick Trip, who not only are providing us with the majority of the food, but they're also the official fuel provider of the Big Unit Cruiser. And our friends at Road America, Bud Light, Robert Specialty Meats in Waukesha, roadtrackandtrail.com. We got so many good people with us on site. So many good people on site. So hopefully you're a part of it. Again, go to the Bill Michaels, Bill Michaels, MICHAELS.com and get registered. We're only a week away. Take a shot at it. And we're going to take somebody from every one of our affiliates. So that's going to be Shawano, Clintonville, Platteville, Menominee, Marinette, Rice Lake, Marshfield, Wausau, Viroqua, Eau Claire. Who else am I forgetting? Well, Madison. La Crosse, mighty WKTY, La Crosse. So all of those, all coming with us. Looking forward to it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's see here. This is from John, Kevin, who says, you can't let the inmates run the prison. No way in my mind that Goody gets canned. See, that's what I'm saying is, even if the desired outcome, let's just say that the report was completely true and Aaron Rodgers does not want Brian Gutekunst to be the general manager anymore. Then, and he's out in protest and so are the wide receivers, then so be it. You're not going to fire somebody because the quarterback doesn't like the general manager. It's one thing if he doesn't have a working relationship with a coordinator or with a head coach. It's another thing, and because that becomes more evident on the field. This has nothing to do with on the field play other than the fact that he controls the personnel. And you can say, well, he didn't call Corey Linsley and shame on him. He treated him like a piece of cattle. Or he lets guys go after they get good and then we have to cut them loose. I mean, whatever the reason is, you cannot allow the players to tell you what you're going to do with your staff and your front office specifically. You can't do that. Now, if it becomes an embarrassment, if, say, Davante Adams says he doesn't deal with us properly, this guy's a joke, if it becomes evident that there's problems, that's one thing. But this with Aaron Rodgers, I'm just mad that they haven't at times really kind of gone for it. And some people say, well, they've been the best team in the league. I get all of that. But there's always that one extra player you can bring in to kind of hedge your bets. And they haven't been able to do that or haven't done that or haven't shown the willingness to do that consistently. It's always, let's do enough to get there and let's just see what happens. Well, yeah, but there's times where you just, go get that extra guy, especially if you're talking about a player that it's not going to cost you too much to go get. Some of these guys that just are thirsty for a championship and they're out there on the market. Give it a shot, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. This is from Max. Max says, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to speak, although as he continues to stay silent, we dislike him more and more. It's the attitude more than it is anything. See, that's what I was alluding to earlier, Max. He's not saying anything. The only appearance he's had in regards to this was on the Kenny Mayne final, ESPN thing. And where he said, well, we're here to talk to you, Kenny. And then he goes on this thing about character and philosophies but he doesn't really come out and address the Adam Schefter. Aaron Rodgers has told people that he doesn't want to come back. He doesn't say he wants to be traded. He doesn't say he wants to come back. He doesn't talk about any of it. And he's kind of goofy. He's kind of aloof to the point that there were actually people asking whether or not they thought he was high, like he was smoking something over in Hawaii. So, and it made him seem aloof and like he doesn't care. And that he didn't say anything and people were still mad, but people were mad because he didn't say anything. You know what I mean? So you always, again, ask what the outcome is. Ask what the preferred outcome is. And right now, what's driving us crazy is we don't know. Does that make sense? 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. This was from, who's this from? G-Man81? G-Man81 says, what do you think the likelihood of Goody being fired is, or Mark Murphy, or both? When will the board of directors make a decision? I don't think the board of directors are voting on this. There is no vote on this. As far as I know, there is no vote on this. They're not. Mark Murphy has made them a lot of money, has made the team a lot of money. The governors of this team are making money. That's what they're supposed to do. To keep them viable and keep them in the smallest media market in all of major sports. Okay? They're making money. And they're in the postseason. They're going to NFC championship games. You know, other than the quarterback being mad, what have they done wrong? Now, that's a big if because, you know, he's the leader in the face of your team. But, you know, at the time they brought in Matt LaFleur and we all kind of went, oh, man, is this going to be the right hire? You know, there was rumors about Matt LaFleur not even coming back to Tennessee. And next thing you know, 13-3 and 13-3, 26-6 in 2 years, 2 NFC championship appearances to show for it. Yeah, they made the right hire. The offense looks different. They kept the defensive coordinator around to give a little knowledge, little help, and now they've made the move on hopefully growing that defense. Now, whether or not Joe Barry's the right guy, we'll wait and see. But you know, we'll find out. You know, so you can't argue with that. What would you argue about right now? What would you if you were upset with Mark Murphy, what would you argue about other than this whole communication thing, which is a big one? Don't get me wrong, but you can't argue with where the team is at. Kinger says, would you ever have a sledding party this winter at the Titletown district in Green Bay? I would. I'd do it. You know what? Do the post-game show, go right over. Everybody hit the sledding hill after the fact. First 100 listeners to come with us on the sledding hill. I'd do that. I'd throw a sledding party. Hell yeah. At the bottom of the hill, everybody gets a beverage. And then hopefully we all toast to the end of the season and to the Packers in the postseason again. Going deep into the post with a legitimate shot at winning in the postseason. Hell yeah, I'd do that. Do that in a heartbeat. Why not, right? 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Give us a shout. Hey, by the way, don't forget about our friends at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. They had a great weekend this past weekend. The Honor Ride was just spectacular. They did so much for veterans this weekend. They had a lot of different and really solid, sponsors and veteran-related companies that were there. I thought it was just a spectacular time. And hey, if you're looking for a new or used bike, they sold a bunch of bikes this weekend, but they got a whole bunch more coming in. New or used, parts department, service department, whatever it happens to be, get a hold of our friends at Wisconsin Harley-Davidson. Go to Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, WISHD.com. That is WISHD.com. Final segment of the Bill Michaels Show. Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Bill Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
It's finally summer, Gina Della from Pella. You know what that means.
For sure, Mark Chimura. Can you believe it? In just a few months, chilly winds will be sneaking through leaky windows and doors.
But Gina, it's summer. Time for cookouts, golfing, and heading to the beach.
Exactly my point, Chewy. Sure, you and your friends are getting outside, enjoying warm sunshine and fresh air. But if you want to host Game Day Packers parties in comfort this fall, you've got to call Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin now.
Gina, I already have energy efficient Pella windows, but you seem to be on a roll, so.
Depending on the style and materials you choose, you could upgrade your home with Pella windows in as little as 8 weeks.
Bring it home, Gina.
And right now, you can choose 40% off installation or 6-year no-interest financing.
That's into 2027.
You're not kidding. Just order by June 30th. Set your free consultation now at PellaWI.com/radio or 855-PELLA-WI.
Certain restrictions apply. See for details.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back, Bill Michaels Show. We are on the air, and final segment of the program before we get out of here. You got Brewers baseball coming up tonight. Eric Lauer goes to the hill, the lefty for the Crew. Matthew Boyd, the lefty for the Tigers. Brewers are off tomorrow, but looking to continue the win streak, going for 6 in a row. 6 in a row. 6 in a row. Going into yesterday's game, Christian Yelich, by the way, has hit safely in 11 of 13 games that he's played against Detroit. He's got a .405 batting average against him. So look for Christian Yelich to maybe do some big things coming up tonight. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to chime in, do it. We'd love to hear from you. This one's from Mark. Mark says, no way Aaron Rodgers says anything before everything is done. Either he's traded or signs a new deal and comes back with the Packers. This was never about Jordan Love. It was strictly about the pick. It could have been anybody playing quarterback, and he would not have been happy, because when you're one game away from getting to the Super Bowl and your team decides to move on and find your replacement, that's what pissed him off. Well, I completely agree. I got 100% correct. 877-867-1670. I get that. By the way, the Brewers, when it comes to OPS, have only climbed up one position through this win streak. As Damian puts it, the Brewers, they're still hitting .652 OPS, which is terrible, tied with Detroit for some of the worst in baseball. Two bad teams battling it out against each other. Just because you beat a bad team doesn't make you a good team. Yeah, but you got to stack success. I mean, look, you just have to. I mean, I don't, I'm not going to downplay the Brewers for winning games. Because if they were losing, you'd say, how do you lose to Detroit? Well, how do you lose to Washington? You got to beat the good teams ahead of you. It is what it is. Period. This portion of the program, and as always, our good sponsor, Quick Trip, the official fuel and convenience store sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. Don't forget, coming up the 28th of this month, Monday, June 28th, we're going to be at Ironwood Golf Course in Sussex with a cigar dinner, playing some golf. Hope to see you there. Go to tobaccooutletplusgrocery.com and look for that date, which is right there on the front page, tobaccooutletplusgrocery.com. And look for that. And we're going to be at the Ironwood Golf Course in Sussex. And that's just west of Milwaukee, coming up here at the end of the month. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I mean, look, you got to beat the teams that are there. Brewers with one of the worst batting averages in all of baseball. Hitting .211 as a team. And I mean, you know, what are you going to do? Right? But pitching-wise, when you talk about, say, team ERA, I mean, this team is pitching lights out. Lights out. You know, the worst team in baseball is the Angels. The Angels continue to be just terrible. They're the worst team in baseball when it comes to team ERA. They just can't get it going. You talk about wasting Mike Trout's career. By the way, the Brewers are number 9. They're 9th overall in team ERA. 9th overall. So, and then the number that everybody wants to go by, which is team WHIP, and they're 25th. Or no, excuse me, they're not 25th. They're 5th. No, 6th. Excuse me. They're 114 WHIP. So that's your overall performance. So keep it up. So tonight, you pay attention to the Celtics and you pay attention to the Brooklyn Nets. If the Nets win, they're going to be the next foe up against the Milwaukee Bucks. Then you've got Brewers baseball on tonight. You've got Lakers basketball on tonight in case you're rooting against the Lakers, as they tied it up with the Suns are tied 2 apiece. So there's a lot on the tube tonight. Outback Tiki Bar, grilling out, watching the tube, beverages, cigar. Time for us